boy Fisk. He's in therapy. They're bringing up Adam. Nobody wants to bring him up. And dude, all these people that are like, yo, Fisk went soft. Fisk went.
Oh, I knew he did something.
I thought he killed him.
No, he made a promise to Vanessa that he wouldn't.
Everyone's like, oh, he's soft. He changed. Did you fucking watch last episode?
Right.
He ain't fucking changed, dude. He just got better.
He got better at hiding his true colors.
Yeah.
Right?
The Punisher scene when Matt tracks him down.
That scene is the highlight for episode 4. Yeah.
He just hits him with it when he goes, did Foggy get life?
That was powerful, dude.
When you bring up comic books in front of like some adults, they look at you like you're fucking an idiot or something.
Because they associate that shit with like Barbie dolls and kid stuff.
Right. It's a stigma that's weird to me because if I was wearing a Boston Reds, which I never wear a Red Sox hat, but if I'm wearing my Yankees hat,
wouldn't he bat an eye?
No. Or if I'm wearing a jersey that had another dude's name on the back, like I'm an adult, and then I'm wearing an adult's T-shirt with their name on it, right? Yay, go Brady!
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But if I go, I really like that new Batman comic. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. I feel bad for you. I kind of would flip it. Like, if you're not into comics, what the fuck's wrong with you? Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What up?
What's up, dude?
It's cold outside, man.
Dude, what the fuck happened?
I don't know. It's like Hurricane Alley out in this mode.
It was warm yesterday.
Yep.
It was like 60.
Yep.
And today it's like not even 30.
I don't know what's going on. Plus the wind, dude.
Yep.
I mean, maybe the wind is knocking it down a bit, but it's cold.
Dude,
I'm like leaning. I'm doing a Michael Jackson lean forward, man, just to go down the sidewalk.
Do you think the weather has any impact on how stupid someone can be in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay. I was driving here today, right? And we're on a highway, interstate,
Right.
There's 2 lanes, right?
Sure.
So the right lane is your driving lane, your slow lane, if you would, right?
The travel lane.
The traveling lane. The left lane is for passing, correct?
Correct.
So if you're not passing other cars, should you be in the left lane?
No. As a matter of fact, they even have signs periodically to remind you, hey, slower traffic, keep right.
Correct. So my drive-in this morning, Adrian, that's not what happened. There was a fella. Now, the speed limit on this interstate is 65 miles per hour.
Okay.
And now I'm not telling you to do this, but I think there's kind of like this unwritten rule of like you can go maybe 5, maybe sometimes 10 miles over the speed limit.
Sure.
And law enforcement is going to kind of leave you alone if you're keeping up with the flow of traffic, right?
Sure.
I'm not saying speed. I'm just letting you know,
right.
The word on the street, right?
Well, and sometimes you have to go a little faster just to go past people.
There you go.
And then you typically switch back over into the right lane.
So this morning, right, it was pretty busy, commuting. There was a handful of cars in the traveling lane, right?
Sure.
So I'm in the passing lane. There's an individual, Adrian, this fella in the passing lane going 61 miles per hour. So would you believe that he was driving the same speed as the person in the right lane?
I have seen that, yes.
So I slowly creep, up behind him, like, kind of like, hey, buddy, I'm here. I'm trying to go, right? And then once he notices me, I made him upset, Adrian. He noticed, he goes even slower. Then he slowly gets into the right lane, like purposely extra slow. He's driving in the middle a little bit because he's a highway fucking enforcer here.
Yeah.
Then I go alongside him, just like minding my business. And he does one of these, like, he's like, he wants to flip me off. He's not sure if he's going to, he does like. And then I just drive by laughing like, what, dude? Like, what the fuck did I do to you?
Right.
I'm just trying to get here so we can deliver this show to all the fans out there.
Right.
And this guy is being a fucking highway enforcer here, Adrian.
Well, I mean, highway people are just like regular people.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 kinds, basically. You got the ones that are oblivious to everybody else, but they're in the right lane. They're just doing their business, right? Then you got the speedsters. These are the people. I mean, they could have a heart in a chest in the trunk, and they need to get somewhere.
Right.
Right. But then you got like your 61 mile an hour guy, right? The enforcers.
Yes.
They have nothing else to do with their lives but to make your life miserable.
Correct.
Now they don't know that you might have a heart in the back.
Sure.
You're on a mission.
Right.
But they don't care.
No, they
don't.
just
Just want to interfere with whatever you got going on.
Correct. So what does that have to do with comics, Adrian?
Literally nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Because this is Only Comics, where we discuss comics and only comics. Yes.
And some other things.
Some other things. In fact, we actually, since you asked, we have a second podcast, Adrian, called Other Stuff, where we do more of that. So you'll hear more about the highway stories on Other Stuff. So, and Adrian, you're dressed very fetching today.
Yes, it's the new intern.
Legion of Intern. Did you get that from onlycomicsmerch.com?
No, technically I got it
True.
from you.
True. You got it before they were even available on onlycomicsmerch.com.
Correct.
And then I also have a Legion of Intern shirt right here. So, yeah, you guys have asked.
Move the mic so you can see it, man.
Oh, shit. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Look at that, dude. We got this little patch here on the side.
Nice,
here. Yeah,
nice.
So where can you get these? Onlycomicsmerch.com. So shout out to all the interns out there.
Absolutely.
We will see you guys on Wednesday as well. If you are asking, I had someone in the comments like, dude, I've been trying to join the membership for weeks. I don't know how to become an intern. So in this description of this video, there's a link. Also, if you go to the YouTube homepage, right next to the subscribe button, there's a join button right there, too. So for all of $4.99 a month, you'll get an extra podcast, ad-free. So join us every Wednesday on Other Stuff. But let's get into the news, Adrian.
But one disclaimer, though, Mike.
Yes.
So, interns, if you buy this shirt, either one of them, your guns will not look like Mike's. So, I just figured I'd
That's
throw
true.
it
We
out
had
there.
that question. Yes. We had that question. But hopping into the news, Adrian. So the Russo brothers, they're in the news.
Okay.
So we're in this, I guess, kind of weird phase for some people right now. It's like we tend to forget history at times, right? So we had the Infinity Saga, Marvel. It kicked off with Iron Man back in 2008, and then it ran all the way up to Endgame was kind of really the end, and I think the last official movie of that saga was Spider-Man Far From Home, okay? So a few years ago, that wrapped up. And the MCU is kind of in this almost in-between phase, right? We've seen some movies. We don't have a great idea of what the overall story, where we're going. There's some bits and pieces, which I'm okay with. I'm good on like, yo, tell me the story. You know, some fans are a little impatient. They say there's no direction in the MCU right now. We don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe some of that can be warranted, right? But
Just because you don't know, I mean, they don't have to show all their cards, you know.
Right. I like to kind of take a step back and look at where we were in the Infinity Saga, kind of at the same point. And this would have been like the first phase, you know, Iron Man movie, Incredible Hulk, Thor, which we had no idea that was going to lead to Infinity War Endgame the way it did, right? So so I'm not panicked. I'm not hitting the panic button, you know? Are you?
I am not.
No. I'm here for the story. We had some good news a few months back. Robert Downey Jr. coming back to play Dr. Doom in Avengers Doomsday, which will be released next year. But they were talking to the Russo brothers, where they were doing some interviews. The thing about them and the difference between like DC is they're doing interviews, but they're working on movies too. Right. They're not just doing interviews.
Got it.
There's some things that they said. They said, we love the genre. This is Anthony Russo. Some people wrote it off as a less comprehensive form of storytelling that's more for children. But we think of it as relevant for adults if is treated with maturity and complexity. That's all it really is, a commitment to storytelling. And they kind of go on, but one of the things they said was, so they brought up the fact, the person in the interview, that Marvel's kind of all over the place right now. Right. And he said that part of the reason Joe and I decided to go back is exactly what you're talking about. There needs to be more of a central narrative. That was something we were very specific about when we worked with Marvel. We would like to bring the focus narrative back, they said, which... I mean, we've been big supporters of them bringing Russo brothers back. Matter of fact, when it was a rumor long before it was announced, we're like, yo, bring them back. Let them fucking handle everything. Yep. So I think this is good. I like that is a goal of theirs. So I understand that you're not going to have the full story day one, but I do like when they kind of took over the ship, if you will, with Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame. It did feel like, all right, we're wrapping up all these storylines. And they did a good job of pulling from movies that weren't there, some early on. You know, they took things from Thor, The Dark World, one of the worst Thor movies ever, right, until Love and Thunder. Right. But they took some plot points from there and really made them important, almost like what we saw with Captain America, Brave New World, and shitty movies like The Eternals, you know. So hearing just this point of view, I mean, I've already been a huge supporter of them. But how do you feel about, like, do you think it's time that we start kind of cleaning up this narrative a little bit?
Well, I get two things from that.
Yeah.
One, I don't think that they didn't have a master plan.
Okay.
Right? They're just sharing it because to them, they've always had a plan. They keep it close to their chest. It's not something that they would necessarily let the public know.
Right.
However, since the public is asking, they're sharing. Number one. Number two, this sounds like they're going to be either more involved or their involvement is getting more. They're getting more involved.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to be around for some time. That's what I'm hearing.
Right.
Because in order for them to steer this ship, to have this plan, they need to be there long term.
Absolutely. And we've heard some rumors that even after these Avengers movies, they're going to kind of oversee some of this mutant phase, some of the X-Men movies, which I'm all for. Hey, let them direct these, let them finish these up, and then why not kind of have them as a consultant, if you will, on a lot of these other films?
Right. So you're a quarterback for, 20 years. You got 7, 8 Super Bowl rings. Now you're going to get on the other side of the TV thing and then be a commentator, right?
Right.
Because you're going to use those years of experience to explain to the people what they're seeing.
Absolutely. They asked about Robert Downey Jr. because there's still this kind of...
Right.
I don't want to say confusion, but uncertainty of, is he playing Victor Von Doom? Is he playing a Tony Stark evil variant? Is he playing some kind of mixture of the two, right? We don't know. So they asked the Russo brothers about Robert Downey Jr., and this is kind of what they said. They said that they asked, why are you bringing him back as Doom and not Iron Man? So he says, we can't explain that as it's part of the story. But there's nobody else in the world who could play this character the way he's about to. So he didn't answer it.
Right.
But it's still kind of up in the air of, is it going to be a straight up Victor Von Doom or is it going to be a Tony Stark? Or is it going to be something, we've seen some things in What If, like what if T'Challa was Star-Lord type shit, right? Like what if Victor Von Doom was Iron Man?
Right.
But it wasn't Tony Stark. Now, I'm hoping it's a true Victor Von Doom.
Sure.
But at this point, dude, I'm good for if it's a good story, I'm down for whatever.
Sure. I mean, I've been doing a lot of research, like on these hidden gems and stuff like that. And you know what name or what word pops up a lot? Skrulls. Dude, he could be a Skrull variant. I mean, Skrulls have replaced all kinds of people, messed up all kinds of stuff, and then pop them back, and then they're wondering what's going on. So could be some of that too.
Right. Absolutely. I'm doing this kind of deep dive into Secret Wars and just that Marvel canon story, right? And Secret Invasion seems to be one of almost like the starting point for that, and that is purely based on Skrulls, taking over, which we saw a really shitty job of that story done in the MCU, which was so bad. And dude, I skimmed through this book a few years ago. But even just reading more about how impactful that story was, it pisses me off that they screwed that show up that bad. Because that could have been it should have been a great show.
It should have been a good show.
Yeah.
I mean, it should have been at least a good show.
Right.
It could have been a great show.
Absolutely.
But they put screw that from I don't know, the 4th episode or something, dude. It just went downhill.
And it was like they were trying to screw it up because there was some good moments, good scenes. I mean, I think back to that diner scene with Don Cheadle, Samuel L. Jackson. Now we learned that was Rhodey as a Skrull.
Right.
But that dynamic in that scene, I mean, it was, and even that first episode, the setup, everything was great, and then it fell off a fucking cliff.
Well, the thing about it is that, I mean, whenever I see somebody like Emilia Clarke come in there, that's an absolute waste of talent.
Yeah.
And it's like you're trying to share that. You already got one superstar. Well, you actually got several.
Right.
Don Cheadle, Sam Jackson. Now you're going to bring in this little short scroll lookalike thing, walking down the street in her fucking, whatever, baseball clothes or whatever. It's just, it was a waste.
Yeah.
And I think they spend more time trying to get her in there than to make a good show.
Right. Oh, yeah. And that character was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't think that, Anthony and Joe Russo are going to have that effect on these movies. So that'd be a good thing. Another thing they talked about was the fact that, superhero movies have been kind of, I wouldn't say treated misfairly, but looked at in an unfair light by a lot of Hollywood, right? Like, they're not real movies type shit, like all because they come from a comic book. Like,
right.
What's the difference between an Avengers movie and a damn Fast and Furious movie nowadays?
Literally none.
No.
Considering, Toretto is like jumping across highway bridges and stuff, right?
He's Superman. I mean, even have a lot of the same actors,
right?
But just because it's based on comic books, and what Joe kind of pinned this on was Harvey Weinstein, of all people. He said that, believe it or not, dude, before he got caught, basically, well, this is not other stuff, but, exposing himself in front of people and forcing them to do things, he actually was like a big presence in Hollywood, okay?
Sure.
Which is actually what put him in that position to do that. Hey, you want to be in this
Absolutely,
movie?
exactly.
How bad you want to be in this movie, Adrian?
Exactly.
So anyways, Harvey is the one who kind of vilified mainstream movies, according to Joe, and the push for these art films for the Oscar campaigns. Because back in the day, popular films were winning Oscars before the mid-'90s, according to Joe here. And then Weinstein started this mudslinging campaign. It affected how audience viewed the Oscars because most people haven't even seen. We went over this a couple weeks ago. These damn Oscar movies, bro, nobody fucking watches them.
Right.
But this is Hollywood pushing, hey, let's get your Weinstein.
Was Will Smith's slap like a reboot of the Oscars?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was their secret. That was like the snap.
There you go.
We didn't talk about the Oscars pre-slap, post-slap. So, but he kind of started this, I guess, push against these movies, and the argument was that Marvel movies were killing cinema. But I mean, the counter argument is they're the only movies that do well in cinema right now are comic book movies.
Well, that's why they're saying they're killing.
Yeah, they're killing it.
Because you can make movies, but when people see superheroes all over the place, there was even a I forget what the comedian's name, the older guy. Anyway, he was talking about how almost every movie out now is a superhero movie.
Yeah.
He's sick of them and all this other kind of stuff. Like, dude, then just all you got to do is not watch them.
Correct.
Like, if you don't like the show,
don't watch it.
Don't watch it. Go someplace else. So it's not. They're whining because what they are producing isn't getting as much attention as these superhero movies are.
Yeah. And what he kind of said was it affected the way the audience viewed the Oscars. He said we're in a complicated place. Things we should all be enjoying collectively. Instead, we punch each other in the face over it. Like, if the Avengers movie does well, that's not going to cause your artsy movie not to do well.
Right.
One doesn't impact. You're not pulling from the same audience, dude.
Absolutely not. You know what? You know what would attract people to your movie? If it was a good movie.
It's a better movie.
There you go.
Absolutely. And he just kind of goes on to talk about how these stories can be character driven. And even with the Avengers, they had this ability. You got all these big over the top characters, but they still were able to find humanity in that story that they told. And I would argue that some of these Marvel movies have stories that rival, if not better than a lot of these, critically acclaimed movies.
Sure.
I mean, you talking about Civil War, great Winter Soldier. Right. I mean, that movie, take the superheroes out of it, that's still a badass movie.
Right.
We talk about The Dark Knight. Right. That's a crime thriller that just happens to have Batman characters in it.
Yep.
And it kind of goes like, I don't know why this is the case, but when you bring up comic books in front of some adults, they look at you like you're fucking an idiot or something,
because they associate that shit with Barbie dolls and kid stuff.
Right.
I mean, this is a $1 billion industry just like any other industry.
Right.
It's a niche industry. You like fast cars? Great. You like Porsches? Because they're fast cars. I mean, Porsche is a niche car.
Sure.
So it's no different than that, dude.
Like, dude, you know me, I wear fucking only comic shit where I go most of the time. And I get people to ask me questions. So I talk. And then it's like they assume that because I'm an adult and it has the word comics, it's probably like stand-up comedy. That's what most people think. They're like, you do a podcast? Yeah, only Oh, like comedians and stuff? Like, no, bro, comic books. Then they look at you. Like they feel bad, like, oh, like you just told them like your dog died or something. Oh, I'm sorry, Adrian.
It's like in Independence Day when the dying president's wife,
Yeah.
she was like when the stripper told her that she was into dancing.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, ballet. She's like, no. Stripping.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like you disappointed him or something.
Same shit, dude. Like I'm sorry that I read, comic books. Like shit, I didn't know that, bothered you. But I think it's like it's a stigma that's weird to me because if I was wearing a Boston Reds, which I never wear a Red Sox hat, but if I'm wearing my Yankees hat, no one would like even comment on it, right?
No, wouldn't even bat an eye.
No. Or if I'm wearing a jersey that had another dude's name on the back, like I'm an adult and then I'm wearing an adult's T-shirt with their name on it, right? Yay, go Brady.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But if I go, I really like that new Batman comic. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I feel bad for you. I kind of would flip it. Like, if you're not into comics, what the fuck's wrong with you?
It's like they expect you to go, instead of going to your Charger, going to a short bus or some shit.
Right, exactly.
Like, what?
Like I gotta order from the kids menu, the one that comes with crayons and shit.
Yep.
You go sit over there. Like, no, dude, I'm just it's a good skill to have, and I know you have it, and I think that's partly why this works, is you can't give a fuck what other people think.
Right.
About you. Right? About the things you do. Now, there's some people you value their opinions. That's different. But you choose, and I choose those people. No disrespect to them, but I feel bad for you because you're missing out.
Right.
I don't feel bad for me. I love comic book shit. I'm gonna keep doing this. I don't fucking show up here in a Batman costume. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
But I enjoy it. So I guess what I say to all of y'all, embrace it.
Absolutely.
You get it with wrestling too. Oh my God, you too.
Anything, dude.
I love this one. Did you? We'll talk about this more on other stuff. Did you know it's fake? Like, oh my God. Did you know that the fucking news you watch is fake?
Right.
Did you know you're fake?
Right.
There's that. Most people are fake. But.
The Earth is fake. The moon is fake. I mean, everything's technically fake. Close your eyes, all of it disappears.
Exactly. Yeah.
Until you open your eyes again. Hey.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, speaking of, dude, did you see the pyramids? All this shit that came out about allegedly there's like these structures underground. They found these with some sonar, some type. I'm fucking up all the language, but they uncovered through some scanning recently that there's these giant structures underneath the pyramids.
So, dude, people don't know what's going on with anything.
Right.
First of all, there's so much stuff has been buried. They haven't even begun to scratch the surface. Like, if you look at Stonehenge, Easter Island, you see like the heads and stuff. They're saying that these things, there's like,
they go deep down.
They go deeper down. Yep. So the pyramids, they went back and the pyramids used to have gold caps on them. Of course, all the archaeologists went and stole all that shit, right?
No, they're researching, Adrian.
Oh, researching. Yeah, dude. I mean, we can get into that on other stuff, definitely. But definitely, yeah.
Yes. Moving on, Jonathan Majors. So he's been in the news a little bit lately, and this is bittersweet because it's just how dirty media is. Like, he's been in Entertainment Weekly recently in an interview, USA Today. And there's a handful of these publications that just kind of gave him a platform to speak. And then there was another one, Rolling Stones, that decided to put out a tape from 2022 with him talking to Jabari, the girl who he allegedly attacked. And some things he said in this tape basically sound like him admitting to being the aggressor, which, why the fuck are you putting that out now? Right, he's already been charged. He did his thing. So I think that's dirty. So just throwing that out there. But the reason I brought this up is he had talked about, and I actually saw this on TikTok this past week, and then I found the article. But he was in an interview, and of course, the Marvel stuff gets brought up, right? And he has handled it, like talked about them in the utmost light. He loves Marvel, and he mentioned a letter he wrote to Kevin Feige shortly after he was fired. And it was literally like the most humble thing ever. Like, I don't have the script here, but it was along the lines of like just thanking him for the opportunity to play this character, all this stuff, and just kind of said like, I know you're in a tough spot with all this. Right. I'm here if you need me, type of like, if like putting that olive branch of like, hey, if y'all ever are ready to bring me back, like I'm here, type shit. So it just, this is again a hill I will die on. Bring my man back. Right. Let him play out the character. We don't need to scratch Robert Downey Jr. I understand that's the main story, but let him do his thing as Kang. There's enough room for multiple villains in this.
Absolutely.
I mean, Secret Wars has them all. So, fuck.
Right.
Bring him back. But he talked about how much this character meant to him, too. So he said that of all the characters I played, Kang carries a certain novelty and a challenge for an actor that I would love to play again. When I hear people talking about it, as long as the streets are talking, as long as the fans are talking, there's hope. So, well, maybe he should come here and do an interview. We got his back. But he said, when I was invited to Marvel to play characters of all the characters, Kang, I loved it. I miss it. I want to do it again. The role is incredible. It's unique from any other role I've played because of the lexicon of characters he gets to play. Absolutely want to do it again. If there's a way, I'd love to do it again. That's in the hands of the Disney Corporation. So it's cool. And then he talked about how working with Tom Hiddleston was great, working with Paul Rudd, and just stand-up guy. Obviously,
Right.
People go through shit. But then you had Rolling Stones that leaked this new audio they found from 2022 where he's going back and forth, and they leaked this out literally the same week. That's a bitch ass move, in my opinion.
Black Panther, dude.
Yeah.
Same reason.
Yep.
Same reason. I mean, he's starting to get traction, and they want to cut him off at the knees before he starts, walking properly again. Yeah. So it's simple tactics, and they can do it. So,
and it's almost like the equivalent to when people just say shit online for attention. You care more about people going to your website, reading your fucking articles, than you do care about your impact on that individual, which is fucked up.
Rolling Stones, the old rock,
the magazine. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. You got a whole genre. You were founded off of this whole genre that had nothing to do with movies. Actually,
correct.
If I remember correctly,
right.
So why are you toe dipping? Not only in movies, but in the comic genre at all.
Correct.
Other than to slander somebody.
Yeah,
basically.
and that's the other thing. Why the fuck are you slandering them?
Right.
It's from 2022, bro. We know what happened. He went to court. He did his fucking thing. Matter of fact, it's been so long. Whatever the chart, that year he had to do of counseling, that's past now.
Right.
This is let it fucking stay in the past.
Nope. Can't do it.
No, can't.
Can't do it. T'Challa.
Yep. So shifting gears a little bit, we get questions, Adrian. And actually, hey, if you agree with us that Robert Downey Jr. See, that's a Freudian slip because he got a second chance. Now, mind you, it took a long time. It was a longer span than this. I get that.
Yeah, but Robert Downey Jr.'s situation was different.
It was a lot
different. It was mental health things.
Yep.
I'm sure he had to go through some years of recovery
Sure.
and healing. Unlike the other boy,
Ezra Miller. Oh yeah.
They gave him the role knowing what he had already done.
Correct.
And probably so if you did it 5 years ago, you did it 3 years ago, last year, last month, last week, yesterday, and you're probably going to do it tomorrow.
Sure.
Right. So they gave him a chance. So what's the difference?
I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it, Adrian. I don't know what the difference is. But anyways, if you agree that they should bring my man back, drop us a like right now. People always ask, how can we help y'all out? Dude, just, hey, like the video. And that's my fault. I always forget to throw that out there. We have people saying, can we send you guys money for coffee? You don't have to do that, dude. Just fucking like the video if it helps the algorithm. So we get a lot of questions about Star Wars here, Adrian.
Really?
Yes. Are y'all into Star Wars? And I used to be dude, probably 5-6 years ago. If you would have asked me, I'd talk your ear off about Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And my issue with Star Wars is I feel like they're hiding. They're hiding behind these stupid ass shows. Mm-hmm. We haven't had a proper Star Wars movie in years. So, anyways, that is going to change. Well, proper. Let's just say we're going to have a Star Wars movie. Okay. I don't know if it's going to be proper because I kind of feel a little odd about this. It feels like a cheat code, in my opinion. So you've seen The Mandalorian, right?
I have. Actually, that's one of the only Star Wars movies that shows that I've watched probably in 20 years.
Right. And it's probably the best one
right.
that they've come out with, period. I really liked your boy Pedro Pascal, who will be playing Reed Richards soon. He played, Mando, Grogu, the little, and they did a great job designing that little character because kids love him. Oh my God, he's so cute. Oh my God, it kind of resembles Gizmo from the Gremlins, right?
Absolutely.
They kind of took Gizmo and gave him the Yoda treatment,
right?
And I mean, whoever designed that, genius,
right?
I mean, I've bought a bunch of those fucking Grogus for my kids over the years.
Sure, it was for the kids.
Yes, yeah. No, you can't admit that, Adrian. They're gonna make fun of me. So I've seen the first 2 seasons. I've not seen the third one. Have you?
No.
Okay. So I need to get caught up there. But I enjoyed them. What I didn't like though, it's like everything I liked about the first season, how it kind of felt standalone-ish. Mm-hmm. Then they, I don't know if that's a word. I just made it up. Standalone-ish. I like it. Yeah, we'll put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, sure.
But it felt like it was its own thing, and then they kind of forced like Luke Skywalker in the end. Like that felt a little weird to me. But they're now going to make a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I don't know if you heard about this. This will hit theaters next year. So to me, I want to be positive, Adrian, but that story feels like it makes sense for a show. These episodes were all like, it almost felt like playing a video game. Like every episode felt like a side quest. Mm-hmm. He had one thing that he had to do in that one episode. Go collect this bounty. Go do this, whatever. Right. And then it was on to the next one. And there was some underlying story throughout, but I feel like it's just a cheap way. Like you can't make any other good movie, so you're going to take the one product that's been working on the shows or in the shows and force that into a movie. I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, I mean, technically, you are supposed to look at your inventory and make as much profit off the one thing, off the thing that sells the best or sells the most. I can see that, but we've seen so many adventures. I mean, what are you going to come up with?
Right.
That's a one-off. That's going to be entertaining. And then those 2 characters, they're bounty hunters basically, or security or some shit, right?
Yep.
And there's all kinds of them. They come from like a warrior thing.
Yeah,
or whatever.
it's like a whole race. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, nah, dude, it doesn't make sense to make it. I understand why they think they should make it. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I would, and I'd much rather them just make another season of it.
Right.
It's working there. It's like, why screw it up when it's working? Oh, well, that's kind of been the Star Wars formula, right? It's working. Let's try to fuck it up somehow.
Yeah, well.
So anyway, another show that's coming out actually in a couple months, Adrian, is Ironheart. So this show's going to debut June 24th of this year. Mm-hmm. Riri Williams, who we saw make her debut in Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
In that movie, I mean, we give that movie a lot of shit, like honestly, and I would say, looking back, it is better than some Marvel. Like, it's not the worst Marvel movie. It ain't Eternals level, right? It's probably like somewhere between the Marvels and Captain Marvel. But how did you feel about Ironheart, Riri Williams in this movie?
I think it's a good use of their inventory.
Yeah.
I think we need someone. I think we need more appeal to younger people.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're phasing out all these old school superheroes,
right,
and making them younger and or getting younger replacements. Mm-hmm. Purple Boy, Hawkeye.
Yep. Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop, all that stuff. So they're making them younger. Mm-hmm. Captain Marvel's getting Miss Marvel.
Right.
Things like that. So Tony Stark is phased out or died, right?
Right.
So now we're going to get a younger female version of a brilliant mechanical industrial person. So it kind of makes sense, and I would be looking forward to it. But also, it's different.
Yeah,
it's different. Tony grew up with money. Basically, his father was the industrialist, built Stark Industries, and he kind of grew up initially working with his father, and then subsequently took over.
Yep.
Brilliant guy. And I think that so Ironheart is probably going to be like a Spider-Man kind of feel to it. I'm thinking, the Peter Parker, more appeal, kind of grew up underprivileged kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. I'm interested in the show, I think.
Yeah. Dominique Thorne is the actress. How'd you feel about her portrayal? Now, you've probably never read any Ironheart stuff, right? No. I remember hearing about, because this is a newer character. I remember hearing about them creating Ironheart probably, it's been over 5 years ago now, maybe even 10. Mm-hmm. But in the comics, she is someone who actually has a relationship with Tony Stark, similar to Peter Parker's MCU relationship, right? Mm-hmm. So she's actually encouraged to fight crime by Tony Stark. He becomes a mentor to her, so obviously the death of Iron Man in the MCU makes that story impossible, right? Mm-hmm. But from a character, how did you feel, even not knowing who she is from the comics, really? How did you feel about Dominique Thorne's portrayal of Ironheart? Riri Williams. Never seen the character. In my mind, anybody could have played her. Yeah. So it wasn't a bad portrayal. So it wasn't, I can't say, well, she did a bad job of it. Would you want to see more of her?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think, what you're talking about, the hitting that younger audience, I think she does a good job of that. Mm-hmm. Like, and bridging the gap too, because my kids thought she was funny. Mm-hmm. I thought she was funny. Mm-hmm. I think she has a good presence on the screen. Mm-hmm. And we are missing that suit, like that mechanical type character. Right. Like, you got Rhodey, who was a Skrull. He's kind of out. And mm-hmm. I'd much rather see more of Dominique Thorne than Don Cheadle's Rhodey. Right. You know what I mean?
I'm just interested in the tech. That's all I want to see. What kind of tech she's going to bring to the table.
And one of the things I really like about it, dude, is I loved Tony Stark's Iron Man, but or Robert Downey Jr.'s, but towards the end, for me, the suits got too advanced. Mm-hmm. It was all nanotech. It was all CGI.
Yeah, but I mean, that's ultimately Tony creates these suits.
Sure.
His suits are so advanced, it's just, they're borderline, they're magic, basically. Right. And they get ridiculous, dude.
Yeah. But it's cool, but
you're talking about the look of it in them. Oh, okay.
Like, I love watching the older movies and seeing the mechanic, like, if this suit, obviously it's still mostly CGI, mm-hmm. but it looks more practical. Right. Not just little bits of nothing turning into a suit. It's cool, mm-hmm. but it like something about those suit ups, mm-hmm. Like the one where he's walking on Avengers Tower and the suit just, or in Iron Man 3 when he's working on that tech to kind of summon the suit, and it's like all fucked up, like, mm-hmm. but it's just cool. Right. So I think we're gonna get back to that, and that's kind of what they said. In this news article, they talked about it having more of the actual suit, mm-hmm. A practical suit on set versus a straight up CGI, which I'm all for that returning.
Sure. I mean, but as the Avengers advanced, as Iron Man advanced, you naturally were going to see less and less of the mechanical parts of the suit because it's less important. Sure. In the beginning, it was important because that's, becoming Iron Man is part of all the mechanics of being Iron Man. Right. As he becomes more geopolitical, as he becomes more of an industrialist, as there's more characters brought on the scene, you're naturally going to see less of the suit because it's going to take too much time. Correct. And it costs more money, do all that CGI shit. Sure. For an extended period of time, as opposed to, just having him, show up. Iron Man's here, and let's move on to the next frame.
Yeah. Well, we got a sneak peek, Adrian. So if you want to go to the laptop shop real quick, we got, this is, Dominique Thorne suiting up here mm-hmm. with the Ironheart mask. Looks pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And we got a little shot of her flying here. Then another shot here. So I definitely, it feels more practical. It doesn't look like the, the nanotech and all that. How do you feel about the look so far, just off these few little?
Kind of looks like Iron Giant.
Oh, yeah. I just like that we're going back to a more practical look, Sure. So I'm looking forward to this series.
Yo, but what's that suit behind her on the over her right, on the left?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
That looks
probably
different.
An older suit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
looks like Mandalorian shit.
Right. But I like that it's not just a straight up carbon copy of the Iron Man suit, you know. So this show set to premiere June 24th of this year.
On what platform?
Disney Plus.
Okay.
Yep, Disney Plus. So
of course,
dude. DC, we don't talk about the comics a lot. Like we'll review some comics here, but what's going on in the actual comic news? It's more movies and shows usually.
DC?
Yeah, so DC in general we don't, but I got some DC news for you. So
They're releasing a new logo.
No, not yet. They're working hard on that. They are planning to kind of realign their history though with a new series starting in June. So we Secret Wars you're going to hear a lot about on this show every single week.
Right.
In fact, as we get into comics, I really think what we're going to do is take kind of a trip like to Secret Wars, like read stuff on the way. But DC, Secret Wars is a big reset. It reset Marvel Comics, and DC has had some events like that in the past. Crisis on Infinite Earths, which we've talked about, which they made some animated movies recently.
Right.
But the thing about comics, we talk about this a lot here. If you are just getting into comics right now, dude, it's a daunting task, as they say. There's a lot, bro.
There's a lot.
The canon, like where do you start? Like it's not like if I said, hey, check out The Sopranos, watch it from season 1, straight through. You don't do that with comics, dude. You'll be fucking 65 years old by the time you get halfway through.
Exactly.
Because there's so much shit, right? But there's all types of different starting points, and every once in a while these Marvel, DC will do some type of reset, reboot to kind of eliminate stories they don't want to be part of their canon anymore, but keep some others. So they're going to do that with this new series. The series is called New History of the DC Universe, so they got really creative there. I mean, like when I first heard this, I'm like, is this like an encyclopedia or some shit? But it's an actual series. Mark Waid is working on. He did Batman and Robin Year One, The Brave and the Bold, Justice or JLA. And he's excited about this. He says it's his dream project. We met in a press release recently from DC. Says it's a chance to realign all of DC's sprawling continuity into one master timeline and be joined by some of the comics' greatest artists. So it's a big event, and the story is going to be based. One of the main characters in the story will be Barry Allen, Flash. Naturally, multiverse, issues. You're going to want Flash, time travel, all that good stuff. So I mean, I'm interested. I've been interested in DC Comics in forever, outside of small things like Absolute Batman and whatnot. But this sounds pretty interesting to be doing this right now. How do you feel about a comic reset?
I don't like it.
No, you don't.
No, because it feels like a lot of these reboots is to redesign, re-empower existing characters. Yeah. Right. Now, just like Marvel, DC has so many characters. So instead of, making Batman this and that, and Superman now this versus that, or female or whatever, right? You can give him a little power, going along, or make Bruce even fucking richer than what he already is.
Right.
But once you spend that time to bring out or promote these other characters that you are not doing anything with. Where's Nightwing? Where's the Titans?
Right.
Where's all these other people, these other characters that you can be bringing out instead of reinventing the same old people? That's why I got a problem with it.
Got it. So instead of just realigning shit, let's just change the focus a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like it just for the fact that there is too much history, but I don't think that. And I probably shouldn't have called it a reboot. It's a realignment is what they're calling it. So this is when they'll say, like, hey, this story is no longer part of the continuity, but this one is. They kind of pick and choose what they're going to keep. It's like spring cleaning in a way, right? You throw some shit out.
It's bullshit. So, no, and this is why I say that, because the problem is that you have all of these now directors, right, taking these characters and pooch screwing them. I want my own version of the Hulk, and I want my own version of the Superman. Just leave them alone, right? Let their history be history. Like, archive that shit. Make it Library of Congress. You cannot touch this history.
Got it.
Once you do that, you get into all the other adventures of that character, and you can get into other characters and their adventures.
Gotcha.
Too many chefs in the kitchen, dude.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So you don't like, so if they remove a certain part of his history, and now that changes that character to you.
Absolutely.
This never happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's almost like if you gender swap or race swap a person.
Yes.
You completely change everything about that person.
Well, it's to be more inclusive, Adrian. Makes everyone feel all mushy inside. Anyways, moving on. Yeah. More DC news. Clayface movie. So we've talked about this. God. It was a rumor, and now it's a full-blown project here. This movie is set to be released on 9/11 next year. Dude, next year, now this is assuming nothing gets canceled or pushed back. Dude, next year is going to be like prime. It's going to remind us of like early 2010s, like back in 2013, 14, 15, when DC EU was still around, you know, and Marvel was putting out a movie every few months. Like that's what it's shaping up to be. So that's good, right? Yeah. It'd be fun. But one of the movies is DC's Clayface, and this is going to be, and the reason I brought this up is, you know, the DCU, they're creating a new cinematic universe, right? So there's going to be a lot of firsts. We got our first Superman. We're going to see our first look at Metropolis, right? Which it looks to be pretty cool. And then for me, though, I'm a Batman guy. Yeah. Batman over Superman, which you pretty much are, too.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, dude, are they going to get Gotham City right? Because Metropolis is, in my opinion, easy to get right.
Sure.
It's a bright, beautiful fucking city, right?
Right.
Gotham City, dude, we've seen Gotham City done really well, like in Matt Reeves' The Batman.
Right.
You know, even the Tim Burton one, I really loved the Gotham, that gothic, almost over-the-top look, but it looked like Gotham. Then you had some, Adrian, like your boy Christian Bale, and where Gotham City could have been fucking Hartford, Connecticut. I mean, it looks like it looks like New Haven in some scenes.
The sun can poke through the holes of the clouds every once in a while.
Yeah. But I mean, you got Batman out in broad daylight. But anyways, it's not always consistent, right? Right. So for me, that's a big piece of this. If you're going to build out this universe, James Gunn, for the love of God, please get Gotham City right.
Right.
We're going to see Gotham City in this Clayface movie. So that's kind of weird too. Like, there's going to be no, or I don't know, maybe there'll be a Batman in this movie, but you're introducing this city in a Clayface movie. That'd be like doing a Lex Luthor movie. Not even, because Lex Luthor is like a top tier villain, but some obscure Superman villain and introducing Metropolis that way.
I mean, just like the Penguin, right?
Yep.
He had some run-ins he was basically introduced into Gotham without the Batman. I mean, eventually the Batman shows up, right?
Right.
So all of these characters had a history. They had a start, just like Batman, the new Batman. Year 2 Batman.
Yeah.
He had a start. He was jumping off of buildings, running in front of cars, all kind of stupid shit, right? Until he perfected his craft. So Clayface existed before he got on Batman's radar.
True.
So I'm thinking they're probably gonna kind of show it that way, kind of like what they did with the Penguin.
Right. Only difference, Penguin was in the movie first, then got the show.
Sure.
But now, hearing the kind of, I guess, synopsis for this movie, it actually sounds pretty good. So. Number one, it's going to be a horror movie. It is going to be rated R. And first of all, $40 million budget, so it's going to be a little more lower budget. But it's a Hollywood horror tale centering on a B-list movie actor who injects himself with a substance to keep him relevant, only to find out that he can reshape his face and form, became a walking piece of clay. So this... reminds me a little bit of Cape Crusader. Now, I'm not a big Clayface guy, so I don't know his comic origin. But remember the show Cape Crusader?
Yep.
This was very similar to Clayface origin there, where he was experimenting, he was getting older or something, using some type of serum, and even used it on some other actresses or whatnot, but it turned him into Clayface.
Right.
So, I mean, dude, hearing this, if it leads to Batman, I'm all for this.
Sure. I mean... The only thing I can think of, he's not really a character that I would say makes sense to bring out in his own movie. Right. But the fact that it's horror, that's cool. I'm just concerned, dude. Like all the what is it? The restrictive stuff they put on the thing like right before the movie starts, you won't even be able to see the movie.
Oh yeah,
like on Daredevil, right? Strong sexual content or something
all
like
the warnings.
that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like I'm going to see some porn,
right?
But and nothing even shows up.
No,
dude.
not
it's
even.
like no smoking,
right.
strong sexual this, graphic that, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
So I'm wondering by the time Clayface come out, I mean, are they going to have something specially made for, if you see your face melting, that's not a reflection of how you look? Come on, dude.
Warning, there's going to be clay in this movie. Dude, I had someone comment, I won't say their name because they might cry. They're like, how dare you make fun of the smoking warnings? I used to be a smoker, blah, blah, blah. Like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, come on. People just want to be offended. You know what you should do? Hey, relax. Have a cigarette. Anyways, moving on. But yeah, dude, I'm or don't, no. We do not. We had to do a smoking warning here. Look at that. I got fucking Toy Adrian upset over here. Jesus.
Wow.
You gotta fix it, dude. I can't have you all laying on the ground over here. All right, there we go. You're just gonna be hatless for a little bit. So you guys have no idea what just happened, but it's okay. But dude, rated R horror movie, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I hope we see more of like that. I think that is one of the benefits of having an early phase cinematic universe where all the stories are not super connected, because you can kind of have some things like this that are a different type of movie, but it still will build to that story.
Right.
Because I would assume, now this is DCU, this isn't the Matt Reeves universe, because they're not going to make a movie there for the next like 10 years. But I would assume Clayface is going to do something in here that will eventually put him on Batman's radar. Sure. Just like Penguin in the show, to your point, right? So, well, that is the news this week. I'm going to wrap that up with a little thumbs up, thumbs down. So I'm going to recap these articles real quick, and we're going to give it a thumbs up, just like our little, I'm going to wrong side, our little patch here, Adrian. You see this? Got a thumbs up, thumbs down on it.
Oh, nice.
It's awesome. And you can get that at onlycomicsmerch.com right now. But wait, watch the show first. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Number one, Russo Brothers say that they want to bring more. Russo Brothers say that they want to bring a more focused narrative back to the MCU. I'll give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Jonathan Majors says he's got nothing but love for Marvel and he would love to return as Kang. I give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
And Rolling Stones, I give you guys a thumbs down for putting out that bullshit news. Fuck you. You guys should be out of business. There you go. Or, uninstall the app. How about that?
There you go.
That's my new thing. When people talk, just uninstall. Just get off of TikTok. Uninstall the shit from your phone and go find something productive to do.
Is uninstall like unalive?
Yeah. yes. Star Wars will make its return to the big screen next May with The Mandalorian and Grogu set to hit theaters on May 22nd of 26. I'm going to give us a thumbs down, dude. Should have kept it as a show.
Yep, I agree. Thumbs down.
Ironheart, an MCU show, will debut on Disney Plus June 24th of this year. Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams. I give this a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Looking forward to another Iron-based character, Adrian. DC will be realigning their history with a new series starting this June called The New History of the DC Universe. I give the name a thumbs down, but I give this a thumbs up.
Sure, thumbs up.
I thought you didn't like it.
No, I don't. But it's good news for them.
Okay.
They're moving.
All right.
They're still alive.
You're happy for them. They're not unalive, yes. Speaking of not being unalive, DCU's Clayface movie set to hit theaters 9/11 of 2026 and explore everybody's favorite vacation spot, Adrian, Gotham City. So give us a thumbs up.
Sure, thumbs up.
A horror Clayface rated R movie. So yeah, let's go.
Yep.
That is thumbs up, thumbs down. We are going to get into. So we had a lot planned today, Adrian. We have Daredevil Born Again, episode 4.
Yep.
We're talking about that in a minute. That's in a little bit. We have March Madness Elite 8. So we have some big matches this week. We're really getting to the end of our tournament here. But right now we have Did They Cook? So last week on other stuff, we talked about the Batman State Farm commercial, right?
Yes.
We saw this.
Yeah.
And I've seen it a few times on TV since.
Right.
And I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun. And it did just prove to me that when we have these bad Batman movies, bad content, it's almost like, I don't say it proved, but it feels like you're doing this shit on purpose.
Right.
It's too easy. Like, look how awesome Gotham looked in that little 2-minute commercial. Yep. Some of the character designs, obviously they didn't have the same budget they had on these movies, but they were able to do that for 2 minutes on screen with fucking State Farm.
Right.
Why can't you do something better in the damn, in the DC studio?
And that Batmobile was awesome, dude.
Yes. So I figured, so if you want to hear more about that, go check out other stuff. But I figured that we would do a little twist here for Did They Cook, Adrian? We are going to, actually, just pull up the wide shot real quick. Hold on. Don't do that yet. I am going to, so on Did They Cook, I normally bring up casting choices from comic book movies or shows. You let me know if they cooked. I'm just going to bring up some of the screenshots from this commercial, and you're going to let me know if these people cooked in these roles in the commercial, okay?
You want the wide or the laptop?
Pull up the laptop. All right, ready? Here we go. Number one, the Batman. I don't know who played Batman in this, but did he cook?
No.
Okay. Next up, the Joker.
Cooked.
He definitely. Dude, look at that fucking Joker. Right. Holy shit.
Looks like Stephen King's It.
Yeah.
Clown.
Dude, he looks like how he's drawn like in the early comics.
Right.
Bateman. Jason Bateman as Bateman.
As Bateman, yes.
He cooked, dude. He definitely cooked. Number 4, whoever this chick who has played Poison Ivy.
Cooked.
She definitely cooked. You know, I don't know if it's her, but she reminds me of in The Boys. Oh, you haven't seen the latest season,
No,
have you?
I haven't.
All right, well, there's a character who kind of reminds me of her. Moving on. SZA, she played Catwoman.
Cooked.
She cooked. And then the Batmobile itself.
Definitely cooked.
Dude, that definitely cooked. So State Farm, y'all cooked more than DC.
Right.
I mean, why don't we just let them make the next movie? Would that be that crazy? But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you could make, like, and they just kept it simple, though. They didn't try to reinvent the wheel. Like, you always talk about the directors wanting to reinvent shit.
Right.
No one at State Farm or whatever ad agency put this together wanted to reinvent shit.
Right. They did a little race swapping, but that's all right.
Yeah. I think they just were trying to get SZA in there because, build off of her fame. But it just, even in that shot with the Batmobile, like Gotham, the dark city behind it, these things, the blueprints are there. They're in the comics. You have plenty of art to reference. You have plenty of great stories. Just pull from that and stop trying to reinvent the fucking wheel.
Looks like New Haven at night.
Exactly. Anyways, so that's Did They Cook? But now we're going to get into something, Adrian, I've been waiting all week to talk to you about this.
What's that?
Daredevil Born Again, episode 4.
Let's do it.
Dude, this show, so far, it's living up to the original show, let's put it that way, in my opinion. You see this chatter online about people, and it's like, dude, just uninstall the app. Get off of TikTok. Like, not that you can't have an opposing opinion, I get it, but anyone that sit there critiquing the shit out of the show, you never liked the original show.
Right.
Because I can't tell you, I can't give you your opinion, but you can't sit here and trash this show and say you like the original, because this is doing everything the original did, for me at least, but it's a new story. The characters feel like they've evolved, as they should. But there was so much going on in this. First of all, before we get into it, score for this episode, what would you say? Out of 10.
I would say like a 6.5.
Really? 7. You're lower on this one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd give this one 8.5.
Okay.
All right. So before we get it, why are you lower on this? What didn't you like about it?
It's a theme. These 4 shows have been slow to me, dude. It's like, come on. I mean, stop with the internal feelings, and you want to do it, you don't want to do it. It's like, come on, let's get on with this shit.
Okay. So you want to see Daredevil?
I want to see something, and I'm sure they are setting up a big piece in this thing. But it's like they're taking an awful long time to do it.
Yeah. I think, the one scene, there's a few in this episode, but the one that stands out, and I actually watched this scene again yesterday, was the Punisher scene when Matt tracks him down.
Yeah.
Like that whole dialogue, that back and forth. And I feel like that was the push he needed to get back to being Daredevil. But there was so much that happened in that scene.
Well, I mean, it is, but I mean, if you look at the other show, because I'm rewatching the other show too.
Yeah.
And I've seen so much of the other show now. It's like I'm like, exactly what episode this was in. But anyway, Matt seems to have a lot of internal struggle with who he is, Daredevil, the part that his friends play in his life. He doesn't understand that his friends kind of make him right. So he initially wants to cast him aside, but then he wants to bring him in full force. So it's a lot of this back and forth. And after seeing the old season of that and then just looking at this again, I'm like, dude, you should be over this by now.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying to me it's slow.
Okay. I mean, I think it makes sense because of what happened with Foggy.
Sure.
Right? Karen leaving. Like, he literally felt like his whole world got taken from him.
Man, everybody has abandoned me. I mean, come on, dude. You literally said that basically you were going to leave Matt Murdock behind in the older show.
He did.
You're going to adopt, basically Daredevil full time.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if somebody killed Foggy, I mean, that should make you more want to be Daredevil, not less.
But I think he blames himself.
Oh, you didn't think about that 2 shows, fucking 10 years ago? Come on, dude.
True. But that's also why he tried to push them away so that he didn't hurt them. If it was, I think it's season 3 where he's like, I don't want anything to do with y'all. So I get it, and I get your point too, because it does. That was kind of like my thing with him getting his ass whooped. Like, can he just stop getting his ass whooped for once?
Because he's in his head, he's struggling with, should I go Daredevil on this dude, or stay the blind, blind boy all the time?
Right. But I think they gave him every reason to, like, it's justified, in my opinion, for him to go back to Daredevil now.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
starting with the White Tiger stuff. Like, dude, that scene with the niece.
Yeah.
The emotion, like, dude, that, I don't know.
In the hospital?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know who that actress is, that little girl is, but holy shit.
Right,
dude.
right. I'm looking, does she take over as the White Tiger?
I think in one comic she does. Yeah.
It would be cool to see that's another passing the torch,
right?
To the younger generation. I think is going to happen.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you knew, but the actor who played White Tiger actually died shortly after.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it was similar to Chadwick, but I think he had cancer as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate. So we don't get to see him to reprise that role again. But I agree, the niece taking over would make sense.
Right.
And obviously she's a good actress. I mean, holy shit, that little one scene, I'm like,
right.
Bam. But you see Matt really conflicted in this episode. Because my thought is he blames himself for Foggy's death. And he probably looks at it like, if I wasn't Daredevil, Foggy would still be here.
Sure.
So I could see, but he's torn. That's why he's still got the fucking Daredevil horn, right? And we saw him at the end of the previous episode sitting in the courtroom, kind of conflicted. But then dealing with, it was like a perfect storm. Dealing with the death and talking to the niece. Then he had the guy who got caught stealing the fucking Cracker Jacks or whatever.
Right.
And now he's stuck there where, like, the legal system is, because that's the thing now, is we got to use the legal system, right? That's and he's realizing again it ain't gonna work.
Right.
This guy, as much as he sold some shit, but I mean, is it really
right?
That's where it gets fucked up with the legal system in general. So he's conflicted there. Realize he can't do anything as a lawyer, and then that leads him, to Punisher when he finds the shell casing with the Punisher logo on it.
Right.
And dude, for me, that scene is. It's hard because there's been so many moments, even in these few episodes, but that may be the highlight for me so far. Those two,
I would agree with you that scene is the highlight for episode 4. Yes.
Yeah, it was just so good, and it makes me want to see this Punisher character a lot more. They're very similar, but they're not, right? Like, and dude. Whoever writes for John Brent, like, they always have the perfect thing to say.
Right.
They're going back and forth about the system and all that. And, dude, he just hits him with it when he goes, did Foggy get life?
Right.
Like, dude, that was...
I was thinking that.
Yes.
It's like, but I'm like, it would be awesome if, and then boom, he says it.
Holy
that was
shit.
that was powerful, dude.
And I like, dude, all these little nuances, like when Frank says something to Matt, he gets pissed off, and he hits him, and he catches himself real quick. Not because he's afraid of Frank. I mean, Matt can fucking go, but he's like, didn't want to go back to that person. He's like, I'm sorry, I apologize. And Frank's like, oh, no, dude, that's the only honest thing you did here,
Exactly.
Red. Dude, I just love that character.
Yeah.
Makes me want to dig into some Punisher comics. Have you ever read any Punisher?
I have not.
I've only seen him in other people's shit.
Exactly.
But it really makes me want to do a deep dive in there. But I thought that scene was phenomenal. And then, your boy Fisk. So he's in therapy. They're bringing up Adam. Nobody wants to bring him up. And dude, all these people that are like, yo, Fisk went soft. Fisk went.
Oh, I knew he did something.
I thought he killed him.
No, he made a promise to Vanessa that he wouldn't. He made a promise to Vanessa that he would not, because she asked him.
Yep.
To not kill him, and he said, "I promise you." Basically, I would not. I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
So, but there's all kinds of other shit that you can do to him, right? Other than kill him, which he does.
He does, and I like the end of this episode, how the parallels between Fisk and Matt, right? Like these two are the perfect yin and yang,
right?
Fisk is playing mayor, right? He's no longer Kingpin.
Right.
Or he's trying not to be.
Sure.
In some ways. Matt is Matt, trying not to be Daredevil, but it forces him back. It forces them both down this path.
Exactly.
And then we see dude, he's just a savage. Everyone's like, oh, he's soft, he changed. Did you fucking watch last episode?
Right.
He ain't fucking changed, dude. He just got better.
Yeah. He got better at hiding his true colors.
Yeah.
Right? But when they were in there talking to the therapist, and Vanessa started talking about how the hands. He was like, dude, can we just stop,
For
man?
real.
I mean, any man would do that, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't want to hear your wife talking about how some other dude makes her feel.
For
Come
real.
on, man.
Yeah, what the fuck, Vanessa? But dude, he's sitting at the painting. I love the blood splatter on the painting. They just left it there. And I don't know if there's something they're trying to tell us with the food Fisk is eating. So if you remember in the old show, he's always eating like steaks and things of that nature, right?
And omelets and stuff, but he's making all his ingredients from scratch and things like that. Yep.
But in this season, up until episode 4, every time he ate, it seemed to be a little healthier. Fish, things of that nature, right?
Sure.
And this one, he had the big old sausages. And that was when he went down, into his little lair. And we see Adam, dude. My man's been there for some weeks now.
Yeah.
He had a haircut in like 3 months.
Yep.
And dude, just in a cell.
Right.
Torturing his ass.
Yep. That play did look good, though.
It did, though.
And he had a lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it was that was part of Adam's torture.
Correct.
He probably hadn't fed him. He, like you said, he's been there for a minute.
Yep.
Hair all long and disheveled, the beard, everything, hands all bloody. So yeah, he's been in there. He's been through some stuff.
Right. And as this is happening, I mean, this was shot like perfectly the way this was done, where we're being shown that Fisk is still Fisk.
Right.
And then Matt gets up in the middle of the night after, all that warning we got about the sexual content they had, But he gets up in the middle of the night because now, he's done. And he goes into that room where you see all the different Daredevil helmets. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He gets his little sticks, dude, and he's out on the fucking rooftop getting ready.
Yep.
And were they trying to tell us that he heard Fisk in this guy, or you notice that like you'd hear him scream and then Matt would almost be listening, but then he's back to doing his little nunchucks and shit.
No, I think they were just telling us that he's getting prepared to come back.
Yeah.
And the Fist thing down in some dungeon wherever he was, I think it's two separate things.
Yeah.
Because if he would have heard Adam, because Adam was screaming Fisk, he would have definitely went there at least just to take a look at it.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think you're right. But I love that part, dude. I really enjoyed this episode. Is it Muse or Muse? I think Muse. This is the guy with the white mask, the bloody eyes.
Always carrying somebody doing a train basement or whatever the hell that was.
So in the comics, he's a serial killer, and I think he paints like murals and shit with the blood of his victim, like sick fuck. But you know what was? He was draining the blood from them, which you're rewatching now the other seasons.
Right.
Did you get to the part, I think it's in season 3, where they're doing that? They got people underground and they're fucking draining their blood. So I'm wondering if there's a connection there, or that's just everyone just likes to drain blood in New York these days.
Well, probably that. But the hand was draining blood. But they were not only draining the blood, but they were also reintroducing stuff into these people's bodies. Kind of like, I don't know what they were doing with the blood, they had this sarcophagus thing. They were probably dumping it into that. Actually, I don't think so because they had like a whole big plastic bin of blood.
Yeah.
I think they were draining the blood to reintroduce some other kind of thing into the body so it could incubate.
Oh, they were like
in
zombies
the body.
almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then willing zombies because they wanted to go back, that kind of stuff. And then the hand came and recovered them and started taking them back.
And somehow, I don't know if it was with the blood or just coincidence, but remember they resurrected Elektra.
Right.
I don't know if it was something to do with the fucking special blood they had or some shit. Who knows?
No. In the comic books, first of all, it wasn't Scarface that killed Elektra. It was Bullseye.
Yeah.
In this one, that Nobu killed Elektra.
That's right.
And then also in comics, Elektra was resurrected because the hand had a version of the
Lazarus pit.
The Lazarus pit. Yeah.
Okay. And I don't remember if it was ever explained how she was resurrected in the show. I don't think so. But who the fuck knows? But either way, we got somebody else draining some blood here. It seems to be a theme. I don't know what's up with
like
that.
in the hand, vampires, whatever, dude.
But so the rumor is this guy Muse is going to be a big part of this story. Mm-hmm. So he was described as a stressor in the story in that battle between Fisk and Matt. Muse causes a ripple effect, causes trouble for Fisk and for Matt. So he's going to just kind of be that pain in the ass out there, that distraction. The bigger thing, though, Matt looks like he's all about going back to being Daredevil, right? Mm-hmm. Fisk warned him.
Right.
Like, you start going out dressing up in your little costume, we're going to have a problem. Mm-hmm. So I see things picking up and getting very, very interesting over the next couple episodes, because if he's back wearing the Daredevil costume, I think we're going to see some of that Devil's Reign story where Fisk kind of lays down the law. Like, you can't be a vigilante.
Sure. But what I don't think he's going to do, one of two things are going to happen. He'll never reveal Matt's identity because he wants him for himself.
I agree.
Or if he does, Kilgrave is going to get involved so he can make people forget about Matt.
Right.
So one of those two things are going to happen.
Which actually happens in Devil's Reign.
Right.
So at the start of that comic, Fisk remembers that he used to know Matt's identity, and he blames Daredevil for, he used to know Daredevil's identity. He blames him for making him forget, and he straight up denies it. But it was actually Kilgrave that everyone knew Matt's identity, Daredevil's identity in the comics at this point, and Kilgrave basically made them all forget, Fisk being included. So they
and all without a multiverse incursion.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, actually, this story takes place after Secret Wars, after all of the reboot. Right. But that's a great one too, Devil's Reign. But anyways, dude, it's got me looking forward to the next couple episodes. And now this was 4, and so we're almost halfway through. There's going to be 9 episodes.
Are they going to drop 2 next time?
No, fucking just 1.
Oh,
yeah, unfortunately. So just 1 next week. But y'all let us know how'd you feel about the episode. So I was higher on it than you, 8.5. But I'm glad he's going back to being Daredevil. And I'm interested to see this. Like, we've seen the kind of evolved Wilson Fisk, right? He's a better chess player is probably the best way to explain it. We've seen the evolved Vanessa. She's kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, not kind of. She's a bitch.
Yeah.
Language.
We've seen, the evolved Foggy as he's been unalived. The evolved Karen is she fucking skipped town, right? So we've not seen the evolved Daredevil yet, though.
Right.
Like, we saw a glimpse of this. You always bring up his presence in Echo, where he was refined.
Right.
He wasn't the guy getting his ass whooped by everybody and their brother in the first 3 seasons.
And going back to the previous seasons, so when Bullseye got in a Daredevil costume, and he was ricocheting all this shit, just messing my boy up, right?
Yes.
I think Daredevil got a lot of that from that interaction with him. Because in the comic books, he's very good at that. Even in the Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man animation, he does a lot of ricocheting of things, of objects. So I think he probably picked it up from that.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make
sense. Just a side note.
Because, dude, that's how Matt is, bro.
Hey.
He's just a badass. But we saw a little bit of the evolved Daredevil in the first episode, but that was it.
Right.
So I can't wait to see that, where he's just not getting the shit kicked out of him every fucking 10 minutes. Like, Jesus. But anyways, that is our deep dive into Daredevil Born Again episode 4. If you haven't seen it yet, highly recommend. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't know why you're watching this, because we just spoiled it all for you.
Because they like us, Mike.
That's exactly what. Yes, I agree. All right, moving on. March Madness, Adrian, the Elite 8. So we had the full bracket here. We had last week, we had Silver Surfer beat Superman. So a lot of people agreed with us. A lot of people didn't. You know, like, how could it? Well, and I call those people wrong, you know.
Well, you know what would have happened if Superman would have beat out Silver Surfer?
What?
A lot of people would have agreed with us, and a lot of people wouldn't have.
Yes, yeah. There you go. Scarlet Witch beat Doctor Doom. That was a close one, right? Invisible Woman, she beat Miles, and then Batman beat Shang-Chi. We had Magneto move on from Storm. That was another one that was a little split. A lot of people thought that, well, Storm's a goddess. She's this, that. I'm like, well, Magneto's also Omega level, dude. Right. He can literally impact the entire magnetic field across the earth. Like, we've seen that actually several times. Jean Grey beat Cassandra Nova. Nobody threw any flags there. Lobo beat Venom, and Hulk beat Doomsday. So this is what we call the Elite 8, Adrian. Here we go. This is going to be our first two matches. Silver Surfer versus Scarlet Witch, and Hulk versus Lobo. So since we only have 8 this week, Adrian, we'll spend a little more time on these. Won't be all rapid fire. So Silver Surfer versus Scarlet Witch. Who's winning that?
Scarlet Witch.
All right. I think so too, but let's just see what our boy Chat says, Why do you say Scarlet Witch?
Silver Surfer has a lot of power. Again, he is limited to one universe, right? He has a lot of speed, a lot of strength, and so on and so forth. But Scarlet Witch doesn't. Strength isn't a factor here.
Correct.
And I think her power just rivals his, period.
Yeah, I think so. Let's go through it a little bit. So Silver Surfer, Norrin Rad, that's the one we're discussing. He his origin is he offered himself as Galactus Herald to save his homeworld. He gained the power cosmic in doing that, right? Because Galactus was going to destroy his world, and he's like, dude, I'll help you find other worlds, pretty much, right? So he gets this power. He has vast cosmic energy manipulation, blast, matter manipulation, cosmic senses, faster than light travel. He can cross galaxies in moments, superhuman strength, durability. Doesn't need food or air. So, dude, it's pretty badass, right? Yep. Weaknesses, his moral compass may hold him back. So he's got a little bit of that Batman-Superman issue in him, Yep. Extremely powerful cosmic entities can outclass him if he's not using his full potential, okay? Wanda, we know, she grew up, so this is like we were talking earlier about, reshifting history in comics. They've changed Wanda's origin a lot, too.
Sure.
At one point, she was a mutant. At one point, she was Magneto's daughter. Then, now the latest one is she grew up thinking she was his daughter, but she was more of like an adopted daughter, right? Sometimes she's a mutant. Sometimes it's mystical abilities. So who the fuck knows? Depends, depends how you feel that day.
Right.
Her power is chaos magic, capable of warping reality and manipulating probabilities, which is, as you've talked about this before, it's just pretty much whatever could happen, she could make happen.
Correct.
Like anything. It's unlimited.
Yeah.
She's potentially limitless, right? Like, I think if she was a mutant, she would be Omega level, right?
Oh, absolutely.
At least her magic is Omega level, whatever. She's telekinetic and telepathic, depending on what storyline you're reading there. Weaknesses, emotional instability. She's fucking loony.
Right.
She ain't all there.
Which could, and we've heard this like with Franklin Richards, even in Invincible, this other show, right? You got Adam Eve, who has matter manipulation powers. Find out that, because she was like pretty much almost killed off in one of the episodes. Yeah. But she was able to resuscitate herself or restore herself because they put these dampeners on her in her mind when she was young because she was too powerful. Okay. So what am I saying? Scarlet Witch, she goes ape shit. She can. She just takes all the limits off of herself, right? And literally can do anything. How does No More Mutants sound? Yeah, and exactly. they're gone, like all of them.
Yep.
I mean, you took the powers away from 99% of the mutants on the planet,
right,
just by uttering a word.
What if she tells Silver Surfer, you no longer have the power cosmic?
Exactly.
Or what if she says that surfboard shoved right up your ass?
Or that.
What are you going to do then?
Yep.
You know? You ever try to surf with a surfboard shoved up your ass? No.
No.
I don't think it's going to work, is what I say.
I think you're right.
We don't need to test that theory. We don't need to flip a coin on that one?
No.
Okay. So the breakdown here, cosmic versus chaos, essentially. Surfer's power cosmic can reshape matter and energy. Wanda's chaos magic can alter fundamental laws of reality. It'd be a pretty good, it'd be a nice looking battle with all the powers and shit.
No, it won't. It'll be quick.
You think it'd be quick?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. One that has the experience. She's toe dipped into madness and using her magic during these times.
Yeah.
I think it'll be quick, dude.
And here's the part. So Wanda's emotions can spike her powers, we talked about. Also destabilize her. Surfer's compassion might make him hesitant to strike lethal blows.
Exactly. So Wanda, gives him the Janet Jackson nipple slip.
Oh shit.
Surfer's confused for a couple seconds. Yep. That's all she needs. Alternate universe. Boom.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Wanda. And the outcome here, chat says if Wanda taps her full chaos magic and shifts reality around him, even the Surfer might be overwhelmed. I think he's overwhelmed, dude. I think so. So your girl, Scarlet Witch, is moving on to the final four. Might as well just stay here and do Hulk versus Lobo, dude. What do you got there?
Hulk.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so, too. Jason Momoa is doing some interviews for that Minecraft movie. Have you seen any trailers on this yet?
No.
All right, we'll talk about it on other stuff. I'm going to show you, and you're probably going to fucking fall out of your chair when you see these because they're. Now, you ever played Minecraft? No. I'm sure your grandson has.
Yes.
He probably builds all kinds of shit in there.
He does.
Yes, I played it before. It's fun. It's like basically, it's almost like unlimited Legos in a video game in a way. Like it's cool. But anyways, he was doing some press for that, and they were asking about Lobo, and they asked him about like, are you gonna have the traditional white skin, right? Because like we've seen like Kilgrave, for example, in the comics, my man's purple.
Right.
He wasn't purple in Jessica Jones.
Right.
But I think it made sense for that story.
Sure.
But DC, it seems like they're leaning into, the fantasy elements a lot more. He should look comic accurate.
Absolutely.
So he says he is. He says the bike's badass. He was about to show a picture and his publicist stopped him. So anyways, Hulk versus Lobo. You say Hulk.
Yes.
Why?
Just the rage. Just the sheer rage.
Okay.
Lobo, he does have Superman for the same reason that the Hulk would beat out over Superman. Lobo does have Superman-like powers.
Yeah.
When it comes to the strength, right? He doesn't have, and he has different weapons that he's picked up. He's a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
He's basically a biker, intergalactic bounty hunter, right?
Yeah.
Lots of powers. Obviously, I mean, he can traverse space without need for air and all this other kind of stuff. But Hulk will take him.
Hulk will take him.
Yep.
Now Lobo can regenerate as well, just like Hulk, right? Does he regenerate or does he is it like reincarnate or something? I think it's
regenerate. I mean, he has to have healing factors, right?
Regenerating.
Because literally, I mean, you're flying through space on an open vehicle.
True.
You're gonna, little meteorites hitting your body, all this kind of stuff. You need some healing factor.
True. Yeah, you if not, you'll be like those astronauts. You see that they were like up in space. I don't know how long, but there was a couple of astronauts that were like stranded in space.
Yeah.
Craziness.
They were underwater.
They're under. We'll get
it's flat. There's no space.
Yeah. So where were they at, huh? Smart guy. Anyways, Hulk versus Lobo. So Hulk's strength can climb to incalculable levels. Lobo can't truly die or stay injured long, so it's kind of infinite rage versus immortality in a way. Brute force. I would say Hulk's stronger, right? Or can get stronger.
Can get stronger.
Yeah. That's the other thing too. We're so used to these neutered versions of Hulk because the true Hulk, the more he fights, the more angry he gets, and the stronger he gets, and the bigger he gets.
Right.
And and we've never seen that in any movie. The outcome, according to chat, essentially an endless battle. Hulk can keep getting stronger. Lobo can keep regenerating. Neither is likely to deliver a permanent knockout without some cosmic intervention. Okay. You think it's Hulk. I'm gonna go with Hulk.
I think it's Hulk.
Yeah.
Now, will will the Hulk at some point just find this pointless in his rage? I mean, you're going to be fighting forever.
Yeah. He could.
I mean, he could.
Yeah.
And then revert back to Banner, and which,
Puny
Banner.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Banner can't die either.
Right.
He turns into Hulk.
Right. Yeah. True. Well, there you have it. So next week, Scarlet Witch versus Hulk for the championship, for one of the championship spots. Now we're going to move down to this other bracket here, Adrian. We got Invisible Woman versus our boy Batman. Bats.
That's a short one.
Yeah, we don't even need to look into that one. Unfortunately, I said we'd spend more time, but we're going to spend more time on the Magneto Jean Grey because Batman. Now, for those that don't know, because there's some people, Adrian, that think Invisible Woman, she just turns invisible, right? Why would she beat Batman so quick?
I mean, first of all, she can just put a bubble around him and suffocate him. Right. Or she can put a bubble around him and crush him. Or she can put bubbles inside of his blood and explode him from inside out. Yeah. Or she can put him in a bubble and inject him into space. I mean, it's just countless, dude.
Right.
I mean, and Batman, he can't see her.
Correct.
She can temporarily distract him because she can make parts of him invisible. He get distracted with that, think he doesn't have arms or something, which she's done.
Makes his utility belt invisible.
Yep. So there's plenty of ways.
Yeah. Because her power, like, yes, she's an invisible woman, but it's not just like she disappears, right? It's like force field, light manipulation, or, I mean, you've done a hidden gem on her before, but like, how does she actually use her power?
Her power, to become invisible, she basically curves light around her body.
Okay.
And then she can make constructs. She can just make a hammer like constructs like Green Lantern, except they're invisible. Just make a hammer and smash him.
Got it.
Or, put him inside a griddle and press his ass. I mean, there's all kind of stuff. So in her invisibility, she also manipulates those photons, and she can make them solid and tangible, things like that.
Got it. So it's a easy one, dude.
Yep.
There you have it. Sorry, Bats. You're my boy, but not today. All right, Magneto Jean Grey. This one, who?
I'm going to go with Jean Grey.
You're going to go with Jean Grey. All right. Do you think it'd be easy?
I don't think it'd be easy, but because in Magneto, his power isn't like some people's powers are limited to, like, say, Earth, right? Most of mega level people aren't. Like, if you put Storm on another planet, as long as it has an atmosphere, she can do that. Iceman, another planet, same thing. Magneto, planet. But Jean Grey, like in her Phoenix form, she can survive out in space. So the simple thing, push Magneto into space, right? She can potentially fry him. I mean, she could potentially overwhelm like his force fields, things like that. Magneto's attacks would be more, I think, sneak attacks in order to get Jean Grey.
Yeah, he would need to keep a distance. You think?
No, I think he can do it up close. Yeah. But I also think that what they're going to probably say is Jean Grey is unstable at some point, and that could be her weakness. But it's also her strength because she goes apeshit, and then she'll scorch the entire planet.
True.
Kind of a deal.
Yeah, almost like a Scarlet Witch, where even though she's unstable, she still is going to be crazy powerful.
Right. You notice that, like, the real powerful women, as they become more powerful, they also become more unstable.
They're psychos.
So Aurora, she's afraid to be in a closet. Omega level, you got Jean Grey, psychotic issues. Scarlet Witch, psychotic issues. I mean, it's unfortunate.
Right.
It's like, okay, we're gonna make you We're not gonna. You're gonna roll out of being a secretary, which is how they were basically made, right?
Right.
Your secretaries with a couple little powers. Now that you're stupid powerful, we're gonna put some checks and balances in this joint.
Right. It's like the meth head being a superhero. Almost,
exactly.
Right? Like, if you're a female and you're gonna be powerful, you can be powerful, but you gotta be batshit fucking crazy too.
Right.
Like, that's like a prerequisite. Yeah. If you're a white male, you have to be a genius.
No, you don't. You can be a meth head and then go steal somebody else's shit.
Right. True. Or you can be a genius.
You can be
female. you're not going to be a genius.
Or you turn into a genius by drinking somebody else's shit.
That too. Damn. Yeah. So all the top ones, dude. They got to be fucking crazy. Unbelievable. Yep. That's called inclusion.
There you go.
Well, that way, if you're crazy, you feel included. You're like,
I guess.
It'd be Jean Grey. Now, we've talked a lot about Magneto here before, right? He's a Holocaust survivor. Mutant powers. He controls magnetism. Really, the entire magnetic fields, right? Even down to like the iron in someone's blood. He can generate force fields. I mean, his weaknesses are non-metal attacks, psychic-based attacks, can bypass his magnetic defenses. And here's the other one: excessive power usage will drain him. We've seen comics where Magneto's drained; he can't use his powers because he's had a little bit of an overload. Right.
And Jean Grey's attacks would be an all-out assault, so he would have to be 110% all the time. But and I didn't even mention the psychic, the fact that she's telekinetic.
Right.
So that's a whole different level.
She's Omega level telekinetic.
Exactly.
So that means, for those of you that don't know the lingo, there's no limit to that power. Dude, initially I was going to say, I thought we were going to have to coin flip. I was going to say Magneto, but the more I talk through this, I'm thinking it's Jean. So Jean's one of the original X-Men. Discovered her telepatheticness and her telekineticness as a mutant. Later bonded with the cosmic Phoenix Force.
Right.
And it's almost like you can't talk about Jean in a battle and leave out the Phoenix Force. Like,
you can talk about her like when they first designed her, she was that secretary level.
Correct.
You know, she could only lift 50 pounds with her telekinetic power.
Of course.
I mean, it's just dumb shit.
Charles has to be stronger.
Charles had to be stronger, even though he's in the wheelchair, whipping it up as he's moving around. Shirt cocking it. But it gets ridiculous. Now she's so powerful that she's crazy.
And then we found out that Charles put a lot of those blocks. So, like, she can only lift 50 pounds because he fucking dialed her back down to 50 pounds because that's the kind of guy he is. Hell of a guy, you know? He's just a great...
Always handicapping the women, man.
Yeah, seriously. But so she's Omega power, telepath, and telekinetic. Her potential for near limitless cosmic power when channeling the Phoenix Force. We're talking about cosmic power with, Silver Surfer and some of these other, but hers is near limitless.
Right.
So she's almost Omega level on both sides.
Correct.
Her weakness, here you go, emotional vulnerability.
Yeah, imagine that.
Especially when the Phoenix Force is involved, because the Phoenix Force is emotional too, Adrian.
Oh, of course.
She can be overwhelmed by powerful mind manipulation if caught off guard.
Right. Okay. Which, in the battle with Magneto, it's not going to be an issue.
Not going to happen.
Now, again, I did a hidden gem on her.
Yep.
This is how powerful she is. The Phoenix Force is an entity. Right. It basically roams the universes looking for, essentially, a host. Yeah. It's like the symbiote for Venom, that became Venom.
Right.
It's a parasite, basically. Jean is so powerful, the Phoenix Force was attracted to her to possess her. So she was already strong. Yeah. And then, you add the Phoenix Force, game over.
Of all the mutants, of all the telepaths, of all these individuals, Phoenix was like, it's her.
Correct.
So, so her, basically, your point, her base level is that fucking bad.
Well, not only was it her once he got to Earth, it got to Earth, it roamed space. It was attracted to her from space. Right. So,
damn. I wonder why Scott was, and Wolverine were fighting over her. Shit, you got Phoenix, you got Scott, you got all these guys.
Scott and Wolverine wasn't fighting. Wolverine was just hanging out, waiting for Scott to cry himself to sleep.
He was playing the Atom role.
The hands. It was the hands.
It was definitely the hands. And why every female got to be cheating on her man in comic? What's up with that, dude? Unbelievable. So,
Rogue is free reign. She's not with anybody. Well, she was with Gambit, but when she was with Gambit, she was with Gambit.
She's on like that Jada Pinkett Smith. Anyway, somebody about to get slapped in that motherfucker. Right.
Mark Anthony was getting slapped on the couch.
All right. Here's the breakdown. Magneto can physically manipulate metals and shield himself, but Jean's telepathy can bypass typical defenses. So she's going to probably break through that shit, right? Her Omega level telekinesis could contend with his manipulation of metal. If she unleashes the Phoenix, her raw power skyrockets. So there's that too. Once she taps into the Phoenix, dude, Magneto by himself ain't gonna be able to handle it. And you're like, is that a cheat code? No, because with Wanda, we're talking about the chaos magic and her, dipping into that. Like, if she goes full Darkhold, then we saw that in the Doctor Strange movie. Sounds like we may get a Jean, I don't know, Jean and Scarlet Witch finale in a couple weeks, Adrian. Because I'm going to go with Jean here. And here's the last one. The outcome, according to chat, if Jean goes full telepathic assault or taps the Phoenix, she likely overpowers Magneto. But if Magneto manages a surprise strike or keeps a strong mental shield or uses psychic inhibitors, he could hold his own. Now, it's a lot of ifs there.
It is. It's like I said, his shit would have to be sneaky in order to get her.
And we're talking, as people are like, that's not how it should happen. Bitch, it's our fucking tournament. It happens the way we want it to happen. So, but we're talking, there's no, weeks of prep time, Batman, sorry. Because, what if he had prep time against Invisible Woman? He doesn't. It don't matter.
Right. This is a street corner meetup.
Yep, straight up, one-on-one. You don't know who you were fighting until they opened up the door. It's like Thor and Hulk in that, oh, shit, it's Hulk. Right. Now we're screwed.
And it's not going to be any Thor, I'm pleased to see you kind of shit.
He's a friend from work. No, he's not, and no, she's not. So there you have it. Ooh, Jean Grey. Oh, it's a battle of the women, Adrian. Jean Grey and Invisible Woman. So that will be next week. So our final four, we have, let's see if we get them all in there. All right, Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Invisible Woman, and Jean Grey. So,
wow.
Yeah. That's
the women coming out, boy.
Dude, yep, the women, they're taking over. All crazy. And now, Invisible Woman, she's not really crazy.
No.
But she's a little promiscuous at times, too.
And
she goes down to Atlantis and whew.
Right. She has an evil side to her, too.
She does.
So, but again, that's another handicap. Right. That they build in.
It's crazy.
Well, there you go.
So I guess she is crazy, when she turns into Malice. So, well, there you have it. If you like this. There you go. If you like this. Drop us a like. Drop us some comments. Some people, a couple weeks ago, I already commented. I don't want to keep, I don't want to bombard you with comments, bro. Drop as many as you want, bro, because that's going to lead to our next segment, Adrian. We Respond, right?
There you go.
So we got We Respond, and then we're going to have a hidden gem this week. You haven't teased a hidden gem yet.
I have not.
We just have to continue away. Any clues you want to drop?
No.
No. All right. Well, stay tuned after this commercial break. No. All right. So We Respond, and I really try my best to get to as many comments as possible. So keep them coming. Appreciate every comment. Even the bad ones. There's no bad ones. I appreciate all of them, even the stupid ones sometimes. Like my guy complaining about the smoking warning. So
right.
I'm going to give you a warning here. There's going to be some bad language words. And if I read a comment that pisses me off, Adrian, I'm probably going to say some offensive stuff. Right? Is that fair?
That's fair.
You've seen it before.
Sure.
All right. So, but shout out to all our interns out there. Big ups to the interns. DJ Super Soldier, he's an intern. He said, great episode as always, guys. New segment, Little Comics with the Little Lady. Yep, my daughter was on last week, Adrian. She had a blast. Appreciate all the comments there. DJ Super Soldier has 2 girls himself, so fellow girl dad, as they say. I put the original 3 seasons of Daredevil as my number 1 in comic TV shows. Okay. I was so excited for Born Again, and currently I am not disappointed. Yes, absolutely loving it. Do you have any recommendations on must-read Daredevil comics? So I have a few, and I've not done a huge deep dive into Daredevil comics yet. There is, it's funny, the artist and the writer of Batman Year One, Dave Mazzucchelli, I believe, and then Frank Miller, they actually did a Daredevil story. And I think it was Born Again. So don't quote me on that, DJ, but they have a story together. Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb have a Daredevil. I think it's Daredevil Yellow. That's a really cool story. God, and I was reading another one. I can't remember the fucking name of it. And then I've mentioned Devil's Reign a bunch of times, DJ. That's a great one as well if you haven't read that. But he says that Adrian's knowledge is unreal. Yes, it is. I'm constantly learning new stuff every episode. My boy Magneto's still in the bracket. Well, DJ, he's not.
He's not.
Let's fucking go. He's fucking going to go home. Can't wait for that reading guide for Secret Wars. I'm still working on it, bro. And see you guys Wednesday because he's an intern. Maple Grove, another intern. Congrats on 100. Yeah, last week was our 100th episode, Adrian. Yep. Probably only been here like 40 episodes, okay? But feels like you've been here from the start. It does, Naval Grove. So happy Sentry got a shine and Hidden Gem. That was a great Hidden Gem Sentry last week.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that after you watch this. You know,
Meth boy.
Also, to comment on comic stores. So Naval Grove's in Dublin. That's in Ireland. Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day to
happy
you,
St.
right?
Patrick's Day.
Which now, how do you feel about this, Naval? Because I feel some type of way. Why do we being American, why do we steal this St. Patrick's Day holiday and everyone pretends they're fucking Irish? Like,
is that really a question?
No.
Yeah, I mean, you know how this country started, right?
Exactly.
By people stealing everybody's shit.
Sure.
They still do it.
But you got people like, dude, you ain't got a lick of Irish in you, and also you're drinking green beer, and you got fucking Shamrock. I gotta get a Shamrock shake, Adrian. I gotta do all this, and I actually have some Irish in me, and I don't even do all. I'm like, whatever. So hey, anyways, happy St. Patty's Day.
Happy St.
Did you have
Patty's
green
Day.
beer last week, Adrian?
I did not.
Did you have corned beef and cabbage?
I didn't have that or beer.
Me neither. So anyways, he's from Dublin. Forbidden Planet is where I'd go for manga. Is it manga or manga? How do you say it? Manga?
Some people say manga, some people say manga. I say manga.
Manga. Do you consider manga comics? We had that question a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
They're like graphic novels almost, right?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So he goes to Forbidden Planet for manga and collectibles mainly and some comics. And then there's a pure comic shop. Sub-City Comics has a top floor of comics, but downstairs has older single issues that's rare and pretty cool. And we were asking, like, you know, what do y'all go to comic book store? What do you look for? Because I'm confused about comic book stores in general. Right. I go into them and I see a lot of shit that nobody buys. Like a lot of old comics that, and I understand some of them are cool, but just bins and bins of dusty ass shit. And then you see some newer stuff that people buy. Then you go into some and there's more collectibles and others. So I'm just curious to y'all that go out there. What are you looking for?
I'm not confused about comic book stores. I know what a comic book store is. I'm confused about what these stores are that's perpetrating as comic book stores.
The fake ones.
Yeah.
The fake ones. Someone who's not fake, our boy Sons of Sept here. He's an intern. So Josh Strickland was looking for X-Men #1, which is crazy. So Sons of Sept says you can get that from anywhere from $5K to $25K.
Wow.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
He says he's excited for the Legion of Intern Shirts. Well, you should be, brother, here. So you can get these on Only Comics merch right now. Can't wait for the store to open. Sounds really cool. Doom may be out for now, but he will return. Doomsday is coming. That's true. And then Josh was saying he saw one with no cover, an X-Men with no cover for $4,000.
Damn.
That's crazy. And then he goes on. They're going back and forth. So the intern's working with each other, dude. That's awesome.
Nice.
But he's been a 15 years of scavenger hunting for this. That's crazy, dude.
Wow.
But that's a very popular. I mean, I think it's the most sought after comic out there. The X-Men.
Yeah, but like the original X-Men one, because there's so many X-Men ones.
Right.
You know?
No, the OG X-Men one. Actually, let me
bring it up.
Let me even pull this up. Hey, that's how we do it. X-Men #1.
Let me see what I got in my collection too.
Yeah, do you have it? You want to sell it to him?
Let me see.
All right, this is X-Men 1 right here, dude. If you go to the laptop shot real quick.
Oh, the old
OG one. You got your boy Magneto in there in this little bubble, you know, first issue. That's the one that goes for $4,000, bro. Minimum. A lot of these spots.
Without a cover on it's $4,000.
Yeah, without a cover. Yep. Actually, matter of fact, this one right here, if you look at the grading on it, it's 1.8. That means it's in pretty shitty fucking condition.
Right.
It's selling on some auction right now for $4,600. So.
Wow.
Yep. But anyway, so moving on. What else we got here? We got that dude Pablo. He's an intern. Shout out. Wonderful show. Congrats on 100. Cheers to 100 more. Pulling on the heartstrings, having the kiddo on. Oh, yeah. Now I got to buy that book. My kids will love it. It is a good book. Support my man, ChrisBoyleArt.com. Josh Strickland, he's an intern. Hell yes. Wanda, bring it home. Dude, you might be right, Josh. Now I got to go and find out who was the first one to pick Wanda, because there was a handful that said, Wanda would win. 100% agree with Mike about Sadie Sink. Don't tell us who she's playing until the movie comes out. Yes. Haven't watched the trailer for Marvel since they spoiled Spider-Man and Civil War, which isn't hard to do for anyone that doesn't like Captain America, but they spoiled Red Hulk, yeah. And then he's saying that the other two live-action Gwen Stacy's were redhead going blonde. So, yeah, they could definitely make Sadie Sink Gwen Stacy. I agree. Congrats on the longevity. Shout to 100 more, yes. Brandon Jones, another intern. Thank you guys for another banger. Just got done reading Siege of Asgard, and Norman Osborn reverted back to the Green Goblin. I was under the impression it was just a suit, but it seems to be a similar transformation to the Lizard. Is that correct? Norman Osborn, when he turns to the Goblin in the comics, he turns into an actual Goblin. It's not a suit, right?
It's a suit.
In the comics, too?
Yeah.
It is. Okay. Maybe just in this comic, he actually turns into it. I know in the movies, obviously, it's a suit.
Right.
I don't remember. I guess we'll get some of the other interns here on that, Brandon.
Yeah.
But anyway, he said, through all the hardships, I still love Sentry. Separate the hero from the addict, LOL.
Right.
You separate his addict behavior, Adrian, from his hero-ness or no?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. You got the person and then you got the hero. I mean, everybody has a past, right?
Sure.
He was a meth head in the past.
Correct.
He broke into somebody's shit.
Yep.
Drank that shit, and became somebody else.
Right.
So he's allowed to have a past.
Damn.
So
absolutely.
Sure.
So the moral of the story is, if you're a meth head, go drink people's shit. Right? That's what I got from that.
Or not.
Or not?
You
Okay. Drink random bottles of things.
There you go. There you go.
So the Captain Canada, another intern, says 100. Let's go. Big up, fellas. I give episode 3 of Born Again a solid 7.8. That was last week's. Definitely things are getting better. Also think Punisher didn't kill White Tiger, but a copycat. Yeah, I think we've definitely learned that. Going back to Shang-Chi versus Batman, was this MCU Shang-Chi or comics in general? Because remember, MCU, he has the 10 rings. Yeah. No, this was just comics. Great seeing the younglings on the show. Got to teach them young. He asked me if I ever played any Assassin's Creed games. If so, what's your favorite? By the next episode drops, a new title will be out, which is Shadows. I've never played Assassin's Creed. My kids have. And I actually was talking to somebody over the weekend who did play Shadows, and they liked it. I can't fucking remember who it was. But you ever played any Assassin's Creeds? No. And then...
Did they look like Ratchet and Clank?
It's third person. Bro Man Williams, what's up, Mike and Adrian? Another great show. So I consider myself a pretty tough guy. But when White Tiger got killed and they played the birds chirping, you mean the coquis, the little frogs.
Yeah, coquis.
Yep. And the ocean waves in the background, not to mention the actor who played him died right after production. I must admit, my chest got a little hot. Oh, yeah. And maybe a little baby tear may not have rolled down my... It's okay, bro, man. You can embrace that, dude. No one's judging here. We call that eye sweat here.
Eye sweat, yeah.
Yeah. I could see a little eye sweat happen. It was an emotional episode. But on another note, the Russos are lying, definitely, and the rumor is that Sadie Sink will be playing May Parker, the daughter of Spider-Man and Mary Jane. So the Russos are lying about the concept art not being there. So they're probably lying. Right. Yeah. Lex Xiang says, everyone hates on Affleck's Batman because he killed people, but Keaton's Batman drove the Batmobile into Ace Chemicals in the first film. That's true. Put the armor up and dropped bombs at the feet of Jokers. That's also true. Sure, those people died. He also stuck a bomb in somebody's belt. We watched Batman Returns recently. Oh, Keaton's was killing all kinds of people. Now, the argument, and I've seen this argument online, is that those movies are kind of campy. Yeah. So it's almost done as a joke. Now, he's still killing people. Right. But the Ben Affleck one, dude, was like, in the warehouse sniping motherfuckers, running them over with the Batmobile, like just throwing bombs and shit. That's a little different. But I still had an issue with that. Like, Keaton's just fucking blowing people up.
Yeah. It's about the character. Right. Not who plays the character, I guess.
Yeah, just because the movie's silly, it doesn't excuse the killing, right? Like, he should still not be killing. Right. But he says he agrees Batman should have a code. Appreciate you guys for making my terrible work commute a little more tolerable. Another working class individual here, Lexi Yang. I haven't joined yet, mostly because I'm not sure how I would feel about being a 50-year-old intern. Dude, you could be a 50-year-old intern, dude. You be intern at any age. Right. We got intern shirts on.
Nobody would have known until you said something.
Correct. I mean, technically, we're interns because we ain't getting paid, so. Right?
That's for damn sure.
I'm about to be a 40-year-old intern. You're a 50-year-old intern,
Yeah, I'm not 40.
So you could, by all means, dude, join. Bullseye Bubba said, sorry, Mike, you had me confused with someone else. So I did. So Bullseye Bubba is the guy that former dart player, I believe. And I had him mixed up with Sinestro, who was the 37-year-old dude who was using his wife's account to listen to it. He was creeping on her account, and he got his own. So my bad, Bullseye. And then he said that, but Mike, I did pick up Long Halloween and Hush, 2 great stories. Yeah. So, hey, Bullseye, when you're done with those, I'd be interested to see which one you liked more, because I go back and forth. I mean, for different reasons, I like each of them, but Hush 2 is actually drops this week. So
really?
actually, I put in some orders for that. So hopefully we'll check that out pretty soon. Now moving on to Spotify, Hung Solo says, I'm definitely late on this, but great episode, of course. Have either of you read or heard about John Bernthal not buying out and giving us the Punisher we deserve? So I think what he's talking about, I did see a story this past week that, let me back up. Remember when we first heard about Daredevil Born Again, there were rumors about them changing the whole series. This was back when they weren't going to have Vanessa come back. Yeah. They weren't going to have Foggy carrying the whole deal, right? Mm-hmm. And so John Bernthal came out recently and said that when he read the original script, he didn't want to be in it. Like what they were doing with his character, he's like, I'm not doing that.
Wow.
So they obviously did some rewrites, changed it, and we saw what he did this past episode, which was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So yes, I did hear about that, and kudos to him. Like, right. I wish there was more of that.
Right. So how is that different from, what's his face, wanting to have more input about his role as the Hulk?
Oh, Edward Norton. Yeah, it's really not. I mean, I think maybe the only difference was they were starting that story then, and it was like literally the second movie in, so they probably just had this grand vision of what they wanted to do that didn't fit there. Mm-hmm. This was, way after they're trying to revive a dead show, essentially. So, but to your point, it's not much different.
Right.
Now, was it the fact that maybe the shit Edward Norton wanted to do was stupid and this wasn't? Yeah, maybe that. But hey, shout out to our boy Johnny B over there. Right. Not doing whatever silliness that they had planned. Because that'd be pretty bad if he didn't want to be part of it,
But is it also like the guy in Penguin, he didn't want to reprise the role because he didn't want to be a wife beater or something? Yeah, in the previous shows, he's choking out his wife.
Correct.
All the girls in the strip club.
That's okay. Yeah. And in the Penguin show, it was more like implied violence. We didn't see it.
Right.
So you're okay if you're actually choking her, but if they imply that you may have, killed someone, that's too much. Yeah. If they got me on camera doing it, Adrian, I'm fine with it. But if they say I'm doing it, that's where my problem is. So, and they say my hypocrisy knows no bounds. C says, late listen, but y'all turned me into a weekly listener. He came over from TikTok. So there are some redeemable people on TikTok, okay? It's not all, the drugs of the world or whatever, the drudge, I don't know. But so this fella here, C's, came over. How do you feel about Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom? I didn't like it at first. I'm just hoping it's classic Doom and not a Tony Stark variant. Yeah, I mean, at this point, C's, they've changed so much shit, bro. I like it, number one. Mm-hmm. I almost don't even care what the fuck it is at this point. Just give me a good story.
Right.
Now, if I had to pick one, I want it to be classic Doom.
Absolutely.
But if they do some Tony Stark variant that brings the whole thing full circle, or Robert Downey Jr., if it's done well, dude, I'm not going to sit here and shit on it if it's good. But if I had my choice.
Doom is such a strong character. I would not like to see a Tony Stark variant coming in for the sole purpose of reintroducing us to Tony Stark.
Right.
That would be a travesty.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Dan Calavacante says, I love it, the battle so far, but I would disagree with Storm and Magneto because she's a goddess, and wouldn't her power of electricity disrupt Magneto's magnetic fields or his ability to control his magnetism? I don't think so. It wouldn't disrupt it, would it?
I don't think so. I mean, if anything, it would probably kind of feed it, depending on what she hit him with.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because they're both out anyway.
There you go. And guess what? It's like we say about the movies in the comics. Depends on the writers.
Right.
Well, here, Adrian, you and I are the writers.
There
okay. So we're the builders. So I'm in the Infinity comic. They introduced these builders. Like, dude, Marvel, there's all types of entities. Like, there's the one above all, but there's a lot of shit in between.
Oh, absolutely.
That are responsible for a lot of, like, the universe and all these things. Right. Anyways, Mr. Black says, where can I subscribe to other stuff? I've been trying to find it for weeks. Bro, it's not that fucking hard, Mr. Black. No, I'm just kidding. If you go into the description, in this actual video right here, in the description, there's a link. It says, you want to join other stuff, click here. So click there. Right. Or if you go to the YouTube, right next to the subscribe button, you're probably already subscribed. So that will show like a little check mark. There's a join button. Just hit that. JD Kiwi, hey guys, absolutely loving the show. I have to call us out as being the best line from the Awesome Versus segment ever. If Superman goes to a universe with a red sun, he's fucked. Adrian, you are a legend. That was a good one. And it was true, too. Yeah. So Let's see. Majin Dill. Aloha from Hawaii. We have people in Hawaii, Adrian.
Nice.
Mike and Adrian, you guys really make the work week. And he's a working class individual. Look at that. Yes. Always look forward to the podcast. How do you feel about Captain America Sam Wilson versus Batwing Luke Fox? So Batwing's Lucius Fox's son.
Right.
Be a good battle. Cap versus, maybe we'll probably have to get back to you on that.
Is this a sneaky black on black crime?
It's black on black crime, Adrian. It is.
Wow.
Yep. And we're gonna have to send Miles Morales' dad over there. I'm thinking Cap would get him. I'd have to know a little bit more about Luke Fox, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking based on what I saw in the movie.
Yeah.
Because again, he had to go up against a super soldier without the serum himself.
Correct.
And be able to survive that. And he kind of held his own a little bit with the Hulk.
Yeah.
Even though without the vibranium, he would have been toast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give him an edge up only because, again, like I said, like you said, I don't know that much about Fox. So
right. Nate says, I was wrong with Doom, but still love the show. Yeah, see, he's not upset like some of you all. Russell Dow as Adriana seems like a sweet kid. She is most of the time, as all kids,
You're
kids.
right.
My wife and I are expecting our first kid, and we just found out it's a little girl. Congratulations, Russell. Nice. And just get ready. Get ready, because, anyways. Can't wait for moments like this where I can talk about movies, the comics of the kiddo. Great show, as always. I'm a mailman who works extra long hours, so you guys really help mail day go by. Yes. Right. And then we got two more. Bryson says, you must be a proud father. Adrian, with your daughter doing so well. I wasn't Adrian, that's my daughter. I listened to the show while I was at work, and I'm also a parent. So we also asked how many of our viewers are parents, right? And then Joshua Bother says, I need a comprehensive breakdown of Zack Snyder's Justice League by Adriana. Dude, I am not about torturing children, so I would never ask her to watch that movie. Right. God, could you imagine? That'd be like punishment almost, right? They might
no, it wouldn't, because they're not afraid to go to sleep.
That's true. Yeah, they would just fall. That's a good idea. If she's ever like restless at night and can't go to sleep, that movie's like a natural form of melatonin.
Or Madam Web.
Anyways, I know who's not the hidden gem this week, Adrian. It's not Madam Web.
It is not.
All right, who's the hidden gem?
All right, so this week's hidden gem, I'm gonna make it quick. Now we're talking about Daredevil. Yep. I was gonna kind of throw some hints out there, but we've kind of talked around his character.
Okay.
Or he's been interacted with a lot of the people that characters we've talked about today.
Yep.
So this week's hidden gem is Mr. Glowing Fingers himself, Danny Reed.
Okay.
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist.
Yeah. So, I was thinking about, I'm watching, rewatching some Daredevil stuff, and really out of all the Netflix shows about these guys, Iron Fist was the shittiest one, out of all of them. But he's also a pretty cool character. I remember like drawing him, because I drew a lot when I was, younger. Yeah. In the like the 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. And I knew this one kid who was like, he loved Iron Fist and stuff. But anyway, so basically Iron Fist, he was not a meth head that broke into somebody else's stuff. He was born into wealth. His father owned the Rand Corporation. And his father actually grew up in this mystical city, Kunlun, which is actually in a pocket dimension that you can get through you can get to that city through the Tibetan mountain. But I think the gateway only opens like once every 10 years to either go in or come out. So anyway, so he wanted to return. So he basically built the company so he can afford to go and look for this city again to get back there. So he decides to go there, but his the guy that helped start the company, Meacham, insisted that he would not let them go by themselves, right? And they being Danny Rand's dad, his mom, Danny Rand, and then Meacham. Well, they got into the Himalayas. There was a slip, not like a nipple slip, but like a slip, ice slip. And they went over this ledge. Well, they were kind of hanging on this precipice, and Meacham is looking down at him. And instead of helping him, because he wanted to get into his wife, literally, and take over the company, he let the dad slip, and they watched, husband, father plummet to his death. And But Meacham was trying to help them get up, and they refused them, and they ran off into the wilderness. They started getting chased by a pack of dogs, and Danny Rand's mom threw herself, not dogs, wolves, threw herself at the wolves, right, to give him an opportunity to run away. And he literally sees his mom get, eaten alive, basically. So during this process, some citizens from Kunlun comes out, saves him, pulls him into the city, and that's how he ended up being there, right? So basically, this city is a long history behind it. Involves dragons, hearts of dragons, but basically he was trained for 10 years in all forms of martial arts, and his final test was that he had to actually beat this dragon, and this dragon actually is an immortal dragon which actually protects and keeps the city of Kunlun. So he was able to fight and defeat this dragon, and basically it gives him the mystic power of the Iron Fist.
Okay.
Now, he had the choice, because now remember, this door opens pretty much once every 10 years, once a decade, right?
Yeah.
And he had the choice of partaking of the immortal tree, right? Basically becoming an immortal, or going home. He was so enraged by this Meacham killing his father and then being indirectly responsible for his mother's death. He wanted revenge. He was like, fuck y'all, I'm going back. I'm getting this guy. So he left, or they actually put him out because they were upset with him that he made that decision. But he still had the power, right? So he goes back, finds out all this stuff. And so there's many, many, many adventures from that.
Yep.
He hooks up with Luke Cage. They become like best buddies. They form a hero for hire kind of a business where they farm their services out to superheroes, cops, other vigilantes, all kinds of stuff. So all kinds of adventures. But ultimately, I think he lost his power because he had to. The dragon was dying or something, and he had to relinquish that power back in order for him to continue living, which of course powers that city. Now, he is such a master of martial arts, he doesn't really need the Iron Fist power because he's been able to defeat all kinds of people with just that. So it's interesting that he, like T'Challa, these Iron Fists, so there's like multiple cities, and each of these cities have their own warrior. The Iron Fist is the warrior for Kunlun, and he's probably like the 46th Iron Fist, the protector of that city. So, but what's interesting is that when the first guy became the original Iron Fist, when he defeated the dragon, he took the scales of the dragon and he wrote down like they write down all their martial art styles in this book. And only an Iron Fist can read that book. Or if you happen to get the hand of a dead Iron Fist, you can put the hand on the book and then read the book.
Oh, okay.
So at this point, by the time he relinquishes the Iron Fist power back to the dragon, right? He knows so much shit because he pretty much inherited all of the knowledge and experiences of all the Iron Fists before him. So he didn't even need the Iron Fist power at this point.
It's almost like some Black Panther stuff.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
If we can't have it, we're just gonna steal it and get rid of the original. But anyway, that's another thing. That's another thing. So so he's just a badass all by himself. So he runs into like Daredevil and Sabretooth. So when I'm talking about his powers, right? When on the surface, they don't kind of seem like much, right? But peak physical human condition, of course. Meditation, he can relax himself, without going to sleep, I guess.
Yep.
And the biggest thing, of course, is the master of martial arts, right? So bad that he went up against Sabretooth, and he was still able to defeat him even without his chi, being blinded. He was temporarily blinded for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But he's gone up and held his own against Wolverine. Just name somebody: Wolverine, Gorgon, Captain America, Black Panther, Sabretooth, Batroc. Batroc is an interesting character.
Never even heard of him.
He's like you've seen him though. I think it was the second Captain America when Captain America he jumped out the airplane without a parachute at night and he went up against on that ship.
Oh yes,
that truck was the kick.
Yep.
You know, the kicking feet guy.
Yeah, in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Yes, I do know.
Yeah, so that's him. So he's a master of, pretty much any kung fu like weapon, right?
Yep.
He can control his nervous system. So if he gets hurt, he can slow his body down so he doesn't bleed out, I guess, as fast.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Karnak too, because he finds pressure points, but of course Karnak finds pressure points in anything. Mm-hmm. He can find them in the human body. And then his suit. So at some point he was transported to another dimension by the Agamotto, Doctor Strange's thing.
Yeah.
But when he came back, the Ancient One gave him a suit that allowed him to be pretty much invulnerable to magic.
Got it.
With some interesting things. So this dude is so bad, right? So he was captured, speaking of Norman Osborn, right? He was captured by Norman Osborn's, and I guess they call them the Thunderbolts. I don't know if the same people, but Norman Osborn's Thunderbolts. Captured by Norman Osborn's Thunderbolts. And I would say yes, because Ghost was in it.
Yeah.
So Ghost ran they captured Iron Fist, ran simulations on him, right? So in the Matrix where, well, you didn't see it. So in the Matrix, Neo was taught karate by hooking him up to this machine, basically, and they just kind of like taught him all these martial arts.
Yeah.
Well, the simulation taught him, Danny Rand, martial arts because he was going up in these simulations. He was going up against the Avengers.
Yeah.
So they wanted him to attack the Avengers. This dude is so bad. And by Avengers, it's the traditional Avengers plus Spider-Man. He attacked. They ran over 3,000 simulations. Iron Fist won all simulations against all of the Avengers at once. The first one to die in one of the simulations was Spider-Man. He was able to attack him so quickly that Spider-Man's spider senses didn't even pick him up.
Damn.
Fist right through the back, right? Ripped out his heart. Captain America, a gun-toting Captain America. Captain America threw a shield at him, and also Wolverine was part of the simulation. So a little bit of Avengers, a little bit of X-Men. I think they had like pretty much everybody in there. Captain America threw his shield. Iron Fist deflected it with his Iron Fist.
Yeah.
And deflected into Wolverine's skull. Like embedded the shield into Wolverine's skull.
Shit.
Then Captain America shot at him. He deflected the bullet back to Captain America, bullet through the head. So he can go up pretty much against this entire team. Now, again, that's simulation, but it's pretty much the whole, the real team.
Right.
Go up against the Avengers themselves and defeat them. So a lot of definitely not an Omega level kind of thing, but the boy's just bad. He's just bad. I mean, not a Batman kind of a deal, kind of like a Daredevil thing, but again, he has the Iron Fist, which allows him, increase strength and blows and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He can do a little levitation, nothing crazy, but most of his stuff is really martial arts, and he's learned so much of it. He would be like the Jet Li, right, of comic books.
Damn.
And Jet Li, he's like reached the highest level of martial arts there is on a planet kind of a deal. So he doesn't need the Iron Fist to defeat his enemies because of all this passing down of stuff and learning all this stuff. So I think he's one of those characters that don't get a lot of attention, and I don't know why. They really did. I won't say a shitty job with the Netflix thing, but they definitely didn't do him justice. So I think he's one of those characters that could come back and portray a very good character in anything, but I wouldn't say make a movie about him. Right. He could definitely be like a Punisher style, come in, do some shit, then bounce.
Now, I haven't seen Iron Fist, the show. What would you say about the actor's portrayal of the character? Was he bad, or was the writing bad, or was both?
They wrote him like a barefooted surfer guy. He had like curly locks, that kind of a thing. I think he could have matured into the Iron Fist that we know.
Yeah.
But I think from what I just the parts that I saw, he just was just too relaxed. And he really didn't do anything,
Got it.
He came in, he wanted to prove himself as the son because everybody thought he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way that he could prove to everybody that he was Danny Rand was when he was young, he made his friend, who was a girl, this bowl, and he had his fingerprints in the bowl.
Right.
It was like a clay bowl that she still had. So he broke in her house, got that, and gave it to her, and that's how he proved who he was. So it was a lot of that.
Got it.
And, some basic adventures of, Danny Rand, Iron Fist, but it wasn't anything that was, like, exciting that I saw.
Got it. I'll do another great hidden gem. It doesn't make me want to watch the show anymore because of all the things you said about the show. I mean, it's unfortunate because it sounds like a badass character that they just screwed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's definitely.
Yeah. Now, would you want to see this guy show back up? Like, there's rumors of some of the other Defenders showing up in season 2 of Daredevil, Born Again. Mm-hmm. Would you want to see this guy show up, or should they recast?
If they mature him, like they did Daredevil,
Yep.
it would be okay as long as he doesn't have like a long, like a big part in it.
Yeah.
But they got to mature him. I mean, because Iron Fist is like a badass dude, and they need to show that, and they just did not do that in the Netflix special to me.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind seeing him, even that actor playing him.
Got it.
But they got to do something different with him.
Got it. So he could pull it off. They need to fix some shit.
So to answer your original question, I think it's a combination of the actor and the writing.
Got it. Okay. Well, that is our hidden gem. Adrian, we're going to wrap this up with some agree to disagree, and then we're going to be gone until Wednesday on other stuff. So how do you join other stuff? Well, you become a member of the Legion of Interns. You don't have to have the shirt to join other stuff. You can just join, but you can get the shirts on onlycomicsmerch.com. Are you ready for agree to disagree?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. This is where I rapid fire. I got 9 this week, Adrian, of my opinions at you. You let me know if you agree or not. And then the real fun starts when everyone cries and complains and then kind of go, that's not how you don't say that. That wasn't right. I don't feel that way. Guess what? I don't give a fuck. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's fucking go.
Number 1, this is a prediction. When it's all said and done, Daredevil Born Again will be better than the Penguin.
Disagree.
All right. Fisk should just move on from Vanessa.
Absolutely. Agree.
Yes, get rid of her. Robert Downey Jr. should play Victor Von Doom, not a Tony Stark Doom variant in Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Agree.
Kevin Feige should respond to Jonathan Majors' letter and bring him back as King.
Agree.
Just Kang. I almost said King. Kang. I really get that out there. Kang. Anyways, but bring him back.
It's like Mufasa.
Yes, it's like yes. But you don't leave him on red, dude. That's disrespectful. Hey. You paid him to play this role. He knocked it out of the park, and you can't even respond to him, Kevin. Wow. Shit. What are you, busy or something? Anyways, people who travel or drive slow in the passing lane should have their driver's license revoked.
That's a bit extreme. Ticket? Yeah. I think that they should get ticketed for that because that is a traffic violation.
I'm about like a public hanging, dude. Nope. Just pull. Hey, license, let's go. Get out of the car. You fucking walk home.
Right.
Anyways, The Fast and the Furious was better than The Matrix.
I don't know why you keep doing this, dude. Never. No Fast, no Furious, nothing. No,
right,
disagree.
One of these days, I'm going to get you slipping, dude. All right, here's a good one. The Bateman vs. Batman State Farm commercial was better than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I agree.
Yes. And in the Battle of the Chicken Sandwiches, Chick-fil-A, their chicken sandwich is better than Popeyes and KFC's.
I would know because I've not tasted either.
Oh, damn.
Or either, however you want to say it.
You've not had Chick-fil-A's?
I have not had Chick-fil-A's
or Popeyes
or
KFC.
Or KFC.
What are you doing with your life, dude? Is it like
I like traditional chicken, dude.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I don't even like Chick-fil-A.
Really?
Anything. I've been there once in my life. The drive there was ridiculous. The wait once I got there was ridiculous. Yep. And then when I got the food was ridiculous. All right. Nothing.
Man. Well, we're going to turn this over to the people. What do y'all think? Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, or KFC? I'm going Chick-fil-A all the way. I remember.
And you're talking about some sandwich.
Just a chicken sandwich. Yep. Remember when Popeyes first came out with this? This was like around COVID. They came out with their chicken sandwich. Well, people were fighting over this shit. Like, they were going crazy because everyone wanted it. It was insane. Yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
Social media fights, people arguing with people at Popeyes. Yeah, they're upset because they're sold out. Like, dude, COVID was a weird time, bro. People were fucking mad about everything. But anyways, last but not least, everybody watching should stop this video, go to the YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube, and join the Legion of Interns while you're at it.
Absolutely, all of that.
There you go. And then some, So that's agree to disagree. Guys, like this, share this, comment as much as you want, complain, don't, give us praise, whatever you want to do, everywhere in between. But we appreciate you guys joining us week in and week out. Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely.
Providing another 5-star hidden gem. You took a shitty, well, you wasn't a shitty character, but a character that the MCU took a shat on, as the kids say. That's the term now, shat. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not a good thing. If someone says, can I take a shat on you, you say no. Okay? It's not good. But
sounds like body rot.
It does, yes.
Oh, he body rotted.
Yes, pretty much. So they shat on the character, but you kind of revived him, dude. You alived him after they tried to unalive him.
Right.
So anyways, and if you want more of this, you can get other stuff in a couple days. This Wednesday, that drops. So join the join the membership on YouTube. You can sign up in the description. And guys, we appreciate y'all checking us out. You know where to find us every week right here on Only Comics. We'll see you next week.